Hey, y'all, it's Garth. I love the country music family. I love the country music family of artists and the country music family of songs. Some of the greatest artists to ever grace music are under the flag of country music. And some of the greatest songs in music history are under the flag of country music. The Big 615, you're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. And I think the country music family is one of those families that is very inclusive and wants both the established artists and the new artists to be side by side in this thing we call country music.
Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,893. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room Shout of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
All right, here we go. Mexico City subway system comes to a screeching halt because of a chicken on the tracks. Meanwhile, when driving drunk with only 3 tires on the car, you are in for a DUI. And those are the facts. Maryland town now using drones to keep dirt bike riders off the streets. Man breaks into Goodwill for used towels and some sheets. And a turtle on the road in Florida causes a huge crash. But it's all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, Ted, listen up. Love them, hate them, or don't care about them at all. No one can deny that Prince Harry has done everything he can to not follow in his family's. That would be the royal family's footsteps. Well, last night, he came real close to doing exactly what his mother, Princess Diana, did. Princess Di, of course, died in a 1997 car crash as she tried to avoid the paparazzi. Well, last night in New York City, Prince Harry and his very annoying wife, they were pursued by paparazzi through the streets of New York City for over 2 hours, which resulted in multiple almost collisions. That includes pedestrians, cars, police officers, you name it. Not the family legacy that he's looking for. Some people, on the other hand, they want to follow in their family's footsteps. Maybe you want to take over the family business, right? Just be careful what the family business is. In Kentucky, a father and son, they were arrested for a multi-million-dollar drug enterprise. These guys were not messing around. What was the tip-off? Well, they purchased multiple rental homes in several states, yet neither of them had a job. Kind of a giveaway. Now, other ways that we might be like our family is, I don't know, you have the same romantic taste as another family member. A woman in Russia discovered that she and her mother have very similar taste in men. She found this out when her 75-year-old mother married her ex-husband. A bit awkward. I wonder if you ever screamed, "Call me daddy" in bed. Anyway, but it's not all bad. There are a father and son duo that are both pursuing degrees at USC. And rookie cornerback Joey Porter Jr., he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. 24 years after his father, Joey Porter Sr., was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So look, it could be your looks. It can be your appetite. It can be family traditions. It can be your health. It can be rules that you instill in your car, like don't eat the French fries. Today, we want to know this. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family?
Be part of the Big Show. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift. Whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhale out.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
When it comes to fitness, what's real? How about when it really truly fits your life? That's how Anytime Fitness sees it. Because our coaches see you. It's how they build personal plans that work wherever you are and focus on everything that matters, from fitness to nutrition to recovery, all so you can push yourself further than ever or just through the next rep. It's total 360 support for a real difference. That's Anytime Fitness. That's Real AF. Visit AnytimeFitness.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but tell us, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,893. What a large and a charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. The exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people in the news that are not doing good things. And we pit three stories against each other and try to figure out which one of these three stories sucks the least. How brutal are we looking today on Who Sucks Less?
It's not particularly brutal. It's annoying and it's embarrassing. Mike and I were talking about it earlier, and I said, listen, other than the punishment you get for these things, you'd be less embarrassed if people found out you were a serial killer. People go,
oh, really? Okay.
Wow, what these people are doing, you're just embarrassed if people find out. It's just embarrassing. What are you doing? What are you doing? Either be evil or be good, but don't be this.
Who Sucks Less on the way. Also, as we do every Monday through Friday, we head on over exclusively to the Odyssey app for more Men's Room. And the Men's Room Happy Hour in episode number 387. Today, we have all kinds of surprises for you on the Men's Room Happy Hour. By the way, if you check out the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app, you will see all of the different podcasts on there. Mm-hmm. Our Men's Room radio channel, which apparently is doing pretty well.
I found that out today.
You guys are listening to it. We have an assignment now. We're going to pick some new tunes and put them up there within the next few weeks.
That is correct.
Give you a new mix of music to listen to, but we appreciate you checking out that. Ted, I know there's a new Megacast. The podcast is up today as well.
The podcast, fresh Megacast.
That's right. You get the
I like
daily
fresh
podcast.
as opposed to new.
Yeah.
Fresh. It's like bread when you walk down the bread aisle. That Megacast smells good.
Fresh podcast.
Also, the Megacast. We get into a new network, or new show on Netflix some people haven't seen.
Okay. All right.
Is it something that people watch? Is it a popular
Or
show?
is it a new show?
Or is it just kind of a weird thing?
Is it new to you?
We just kind of made it up. It's just a weird title.
All right. Okay. All right.
But if it was a real show, I'd hope you'd watch it. I'm on season 5.
Check out all the podcasts there, exclusively on the Odyssey app. Keep in mind one thing to do: sign in to listen. Sign in when you get there. All right. The more you listen, the more chances you have to win stuff. I believe tickets and all kinds of things. I'm not exactly sure what we have for you now, but I believe the tickets involve a very popular singer. But I don't quote me on that. I have no idea. But for every hour you listen, you get another entry to win tickets to one of the concerts coming around the area.
Currently, if you win the grand prize there for listening live with Odyssey, you could win tickets to Avenged Sevenfold with special guest Falling in Reverse.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we know them.
Doma in October.
Wow. All right. Oh, that's going to be a pretty good show. Boom. Okay. So sign in and then check out all the podcasts. Listen to us live anywhere you go on the Odyssey app. And, of course, the Men's Room Happy Hour coming up. What else? Oh, our question today. We talked a little bit about family, but we're going to get into a different aspect of it today as far as the question is concerned. And sometimes you don't even want to admit that you have similarities with your family. Other times, you know damn well you don't. And based on whatever you went through in life, there are certain things that you emulate with your parents. There are certain things that you try to stay as far away from as humanly possible. And I read a big study as far as masculinity in men and how sons follow their dad's lead a lot of the times as far as...
I'm not nearly as tough as my dad was.
Well, I know, but
there's no chance.
So some people try, or some people try to emulate.
I tried, but it hurt. I got the... I almost cuss. I got the crap beat out of me. It turns out he does pretty well. So I'm going to take a different route here because... Yeah. What you've chosen to do is a lot more painful than I'm prepared to do.
I know. I am on the same tip. Granted, I had 2 daughters. Not that makes a difference as far as punishing your children. I never really had to be in that position. But I will say this. That was one thing that was on the table immediately was I will never lay a hand on my child.
Yeah.
Just because the hands were laid on me. So
hand belts,
switches, wooden spoons. If it was in reaching distance, you had a good chance of getting cracked.
And here's the thing. It didn't make any difference. I'm still an a-hole. I mean, it really made no difference. But the thing that hit me today, I'm reading this thing about Prince Harry, right? And the whole thing is, he stepped away from the royal family.
Right.
Doesn't want to be a part of it. Right. Whatever. Fine. Do your thing. I don't care. And then you're telling me the one thing that kind of brings you back to something significant that happened in the royal family's history is that you're chased by paparazzi and you damn near got in what they called a catastrophic crash.
Correct.
That's the last thing in the royal family that you want to emulate, right?
Think about correct.
Yes. In New York City. So it's not like you're on big open highways. I mean, New York City, I don't know if you've ever been there. I don't know. I've driven there once, and that was a horrible mistake. But ain't a whole lot of room to do a whole lot of stuff. So they bring up them was hit pedestrians. I'm like, they probably drove up on the sidewalk to get away from this paparazzi, and it's the same scenario. Yeah. Paparazzi chasing you down.
But they ruined his mother's life. I mean, whether you're into the royal family or not, the facts are the facts. She was being pursued constantly,
right,
as far as her life was concerned. When he was, a member of the royal family. Because
she was the only interesting one in the family.
All the tabloids, they're writing about, he, his wife, or fiance at the time, or whatever it was. It's never positive.
Right.
For the most part, all that stuff is very negative, and they hound you and everything else. And one thing that he wanted to do was not be put in the same situation that his mom, who's not around anymore, was put in all the time. And he just wanted to get out of that spotlight. Now, granted,
sort of.
When he came here, we just wanted privacy.
There's my Oprah interview.
Correct.
And so, you're not doing yourself any favors, but still, man, I'm like, of all the freaking things that emulates the royal family, the thing you're trying to get away from, being pursued by paparazzi in a high-speed chase, probably not at the top of your list.
Here's the story. Prince Harry, wife Meghan.
What else are you going to get out of them?
It's just big.
Right. They do interviews all the time. We probably know way too much about them.
Yes,
he wrote a book.
We do.
He wrote a book
for the
about
paparazzi. It's it was too much with his mom, but you could fathom it because back then you didn't have the access we have now. But Jesus, man, they've told us everything.
And let's say we're having sex. Do we need a picture of them in a car? And what makes it worse for them? This kind of cracks me up. It's not funny, but... So I guess they have a mansion in California. I'm finding this out today. Monday night, someone broke into or tried to break into the mansion. Yep. The following night, you're getting chased by paparazzi.
And you're not even home. You're in New York.
Which is too close to Papa Rodney. Yeah. That's a personal thing.
Prince Harry and wife Meghan and her mother were involved in what a rep for the prince is calling a near catastrophic car chase on Tuesday night. It occurred while the couple and Doria Ragland were in New York City to attend an award ceremony by the Miss Foundation for Women. The incident occurred at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. The relentless pursuit lasted over 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 New York police officers. They report that during that time, they were reportedly being followed by half a dozen vehicles, all with blacked out windows.
Wait, the paparazzi had blacked out windows?
Half dozen vehicles, yes.
CNN, is that normal that they have... I mean, I don't know much about the paparazzi as they do not follow me around and I do not pay attention.
I'm assuming they got cars with drivers.
Yeah, and also I would think it gives you some cover because you can't see into the car, but you can shoot photos out of it.
Right, okay.
CNN has more from the rep's statement. While being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. Dissemination of these images, given the ways in which they are obtained, encourages a highly intrusive practice that is dangerous to all involved. The BBC reports the New York Police Department did not initially confirm the couple's account, but it issued a statement hours later. On May 16th, the police assisted the private security team protecting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. There were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess arrived at their destination, and there were no reported collisions, injuries, or arrests in regard. But still, that's a little bit strange coming from the fact, again, that his mom...
Yeah, that's all.
That was her, that was her undoing.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing for him.
Yeah.
It's also coming out that might have been a little bit exaggerated, too.
Well, of course it is. You're putting it out there in these royal family. You're going to exaggerate it. Of that, there is no doubt.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change the fact that paparazzi is still hounding you, which is at the root of it.
Sure. Then we have positive stories, too, about how you're like your parents. It's not always negative. It's, like, hey, you can take some good things out of your, upbringing in your life.
I got my mom's beard.
This is a weird one, though. I know, Ted, you would hate
And her
this.
eyes.
I can't even imagine
Ted.
Could you imagine?
Got you, buddy.
Yeah. Could you imagine going to college? All right. You finally get a chance to go to college. You get into USC.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to be a Trojan.
You enter a program, right?
The Trojans lost.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
They had a
they're
good
going
run.
to pick a nickname that, pick the losing side.
You enter for a degree in the civil and environmental engineering degree.
That makes sense for me.
Sure.
Yes.
But
Yes.
guess who is coming along for the ride and going to school with you? One of your parents. How would you feel about attending college at the same time and in the same department and the same classes as your dad? Luckily for Ryan and Kyle Revale, the experience has been remarkably fun. Ryan, who has already clocked in over 25 years in the construction industry, was prompted to continue his educational journey after his son Kyle embarked on his undergraduate degree.
All right.
In the Sunny Astani Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at USC. They both, the father started his career in the Philippines as a civil engineer. Ryan had long been contemplating earning a master's degree and taking the next step in his career. I was just waiting for the right time to make that transition. When I saw the experience my son Kyle was having at USC, that prompted me to do some research. It turned out that the Master of Construction Management degree was just the right program. Now a sophomore, Kyle has decided to pursue the construction track. So who followed whom? Ryan and Kyle, they don't dwell on the nuances of the age-old question of the chicken and the egg. More importantly, they're both inspired by one another. They're trying to compete with grades.
Really?
Yeah, making my parents proud is a major source of motivation for me. I grew up watching my dad work hard, and he's taught me so much. That's part of why we're doing this together.
I would not compete with my dad because his grades were like my brother's grades, right? They're very similar in that case. But college I went to, and granted, I got kicked out after a year, but the college I went to, my mom worked at, okay? And it was at her behest that I went.
Why did you get kicked out of college?
Multiple reasons. But there was honestly,
I respect it.
But my mother worked there. So the whole deal was I sucked in high school. And in my junior year, my mother's like, look, man, after many, many other things went on, she just said, just graduate from goddamn high school and you can do whatever you want. I'm like, deal. Graduated from high school. Well, during my early in my senior year of high school, she gets a new job at a college. So she's like, you need to go to college. I'm like, that is not the deal we made. We went there. Finally, she said, it's like 85% chicks. I'm like, I'm in. Sign me up. Cool. Went to the school. About 3 months after I started there, I remember my mother pulls me aside and she goes, are you trying to get me fired? That's an exact quote, right? I said, I'm not trying, but the administration here cares about things I do. That seems to be the problem. So no, I would not want to do it again. And I think if you were to ask my mother, based on that brief interlude we had, now she was not going to the college. She did work there. But I think she'd agree, hell no. I would never have Stephen back at a place that I work where my reputation is on the line. We both learned a valuable lesson. And what we learned is my mom's very professional and good at what she does, and I do not care. And these things have never changed. But I think she thought there's going to be this big reckoning, lightning will strike, and I'm just who I am, right? So I just rolled how I roll. Turns out people frown on some things, and yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I really do think you're a product of how you were raised in a lot of different ways.
I've told my parents that every time you get mad at me, you should have raised me better.
Especially when it comes to relationships. Now, whether you want to admit this or not, the volatility or whatever was going on in your home played a large aspect on how you look at life as an adult as far as the way you take on relationships. You can be very successful at a number of different things, from your career to being a good parent to all those things. But the way you were brought up makes a difference. Like your parents have been together. What was their latest wedding anniversary?
Hold on. They got married in 1964. What is that? I don't want to do 57 years,
right, okay,
something like that.
That is unbelievable. You've been married forever. You've been in one relationship for a very long time, and there's nothing going to change that. But in my family,
death.
It was always It was always a battle going on. There was always conflict coming, and so my mom was married a couple times. My dad was married a few times. My first wife's dad was married a few times.
Oh, really?
Her mom was married a few times. So that became more of a normal thing. Not that, because when you grow up, it's all you know.
Well, sure. It's not weird.
If your parents have been together
you know.
forever, that's what you know. And that's kind of what your expectations are when you become an adult. If it's not what you know, and I'm not saying that I did not want to be married to the same person my entire life. That was a goal of mine. But it was just, for some reason, there was always an out. Because that's how my whole life had gone. It was like, look, if you don't want to be someone and you're not happy, that's the stuff I heard. Then, when the parents sat you down and said, we're not going to be together anymore. It's like, sometimes adults love you very much. Sometimes adults don't get along with each other. And the best thing that we can do is not be together. And so, all this gets instilled in you as far as just,
Sure.
Look, there's an exit door here where a lot of people say, no, we're going to make this work and we're going to do all that. I think when you come from divorced parents, it's easier to pull that parachute and rip that cord than it is for a lot of people whose parents have been together forever. I can kind of see that as far as relationships and people that I know who've been married forever, and their parents.
If you have the safety valve, the emergency door, and you perceive it to be there the whole time, I can see it's easier to do
on both sides. So
the flip side, I moved around all the time as a kid. The only thing I told my wife is, I'm not moving him around. We're going to find a house.
How many times did you change schools?
First of all, every time we change, and there's nothing worse than changing schools in the middle of the school year. We could never just start in September. You show up in November, you show up in January, So
you are the new kid coming in.
You're always the new kid.
There's 4 or 5 kids that come in that are new kids every year.
But they've already been.
Now you're the newest kid.
Right. You got to figure all the different cliques and all that kind of crap that goes with it. So I just said, look, man, you survive it. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it is frustrating when you. So to me, that was very, very normal. But then I realized everyone I talked to talked about the house that they grew up in. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude.
How many different houses did you grow up in?
I'm going to start counting. So just hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different houses.
And you just sold the house that you grew up in.
Correct. Yeah, I lived in one house. Right. Then my parents split up when I graduated high school. So then I lived. My mom moved around a little bit.
Yeah,
but then I moved out.
But that's the only thing I told my wife. I said, look, the kids didn't grow up in one house. Now, when they graduate high school, there are no guarantees that we hang on to this. There's no guarantee.
No.
But
I mean, if they're born in Seattle, for their school year,
they're going to stay in Seattle until they choose to move. Because I just moved around all the time. But 95% of the people I speak to that are non-military grew up in one place, so they just have deeper ties. You know what I mean? Like they have roots, quote unquote, whatever it is. So I said, look, I'm going to give them that. And they can hate me for it, they can love me for it, but I'm not going to move their ass around all the time. Give them some freaking stability, let them keep the same friends. It's important stuff.
I think sometimes, too, it depends on the environment. It's nothing against my environment, against my parents. But, my code of how I treat people and this and that just comes from DeMatha. And, Coach Wooten and those people.
Sure.
So, you know what I mean? So, I think environment.
It's Coach Wooten, too.
Right. Or Coach Prada. I think the environment helps, too. Absolutely. Now, as a kid, when you're at DeMatha, you hate it. You think it's right. I barely could stay in that school. I went to summer school. You think some of these teachers don't like
They're too strict, all that stuff.
And then, when you get to your 20s, you realize, there's a lot of kids like me. My father didn't live with me when I was in high school. We were desperate for this kind of leadership.
You don't know it.
We didn't know it.
Right. Yep. Our question, for better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Come on, men, put your backs into it.
Captain, you might consider talking to a specialist about your anxiety.
I can't do that without a referral from me doctor, and I marooned him on an island.
If you have a Pacific Source health plan, Captain, you're not required to have a referral.
Pacific Source health plans, you say? Excellent. I've done some of my best work in the Pacific.
No referrals required to see a specialist. Just another way Pacific Source Health Plans goes beyond what's required. Visit PacificSourceMembersFirst.com.
99.9 KISW.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, for better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Couple of quick texts here. Says, thanks to my family, I got a bunch of fun things, both physically and mentally. Now, thanks to my mom's side of the family, I have ADHD and dyslexia, but awesome German Scandinavian frame, also a slate addictive personality. I look great. Now, Can't thank my dad's side. I have a giant gap between my toe and my other toes to the point where you can fit a whole nother toe there. It's pretty awesome, though. I got like monkey feet, and you can pick up almost anything. The only downside is that I got my dad's side and I got no ass. So it's been fun trying to find the right belt.
All belts don't work.
If you don't have an ass, wear suspenders. Just wear suspenders.
Not only that,
guy.
But if you have no ass, they don't put enough belt loops on the back to really make the belt work sometimes. Like some pants, they got one in the middle. Like, I need one on each side.
You think Taylor Swift wears a belt? There's no way.
Well, I mean, she has form-fitting clothes. I just don't have an ass.
She has the money to get form-fitting.
If suspenders were to ever come back in fashion.
They've never been in fashion.
I know that, but if they were to ever come back in fashion.
the trend and wear suspenders. Tell them I'm that guy.
Miles, you could wear suspenders, but you'd have to shave your head and grow a goatee and just wear white T-shirts.
Exactly. I have to wear a T-shirt and a button-up over top.
Just make a small sacrifice and your pants won't fall down.
And to be honest with you, Ted, I probably look like a lot of people you know and look like I sell popcorn.
I was thinking...
Come here, can you try this? Caramel. You'll love it.
I do trust. Look, if it's caramel, apple, popcorn, or corn dog, and you're wearing suspenders, I trust you.
Have one of those styrofoam brimmed hats,
of course.
Red, white, and blue on it.
Then somebody here says, Thrill, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I promised myself I wouldn't do that to my daughter. Well, she's 25 now and is friends with and hangs out with the kids that she went to kindergarten with. It's a good thing for them and my brother. To me, our jobs as parents are to break any bad cycles with their children.
God.
Look, you're right. Like I said, that's the one thing that I will do for my kids. By no means am I saying I'm an outstanding parent. I'm saying the one thing that I know I can stick to is that.
All my kids were so mad at me when I moved here.
Well, yeah.
Because they
how old were they?
They ended up moving here. Oh, God. That was, 2005?
2005.
So they were 6 and 5. But they had friends. They were in school. They had their friends in the neighborhood, and they were more upset about leaving their friendships behind. But they're still friends with those kids that they grew up with in Baltimore and
really?
Columbia. Yeah.
Okay, well, good, man.
But when they got here, they were sad. Because like anything else, they had to start all over
and
again.
And then you get to feel guilty about it.
And I did.
Man,
Trust me, I did.
Oh,
I felt horrible.
Kids get guilt tripped. They don't even mean to.
Well, no, they were just
like,
upset.
God.
You know what I mean? They missed doing their normal stuff.
Well, it's hard to tell a kid, too. It's like, in retrospect, I look back at stuff that everyone was 5 or 6. Like, it doesn't matter.
No. It doesn't matter.
But to them, it's their whole world.
It is their whole world.
I'm trying to explain what a job is, you know.
It means nothing. Because to them, school is a job. Trust me, I hear it from my daughter. But you get paid. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. But I also went to school for all those years and did not.
Right. I also did not get paid. And I like this one. It says, my dad married a bitch. Like father, like son. I also married a bitch. No regrets. She was kind of a fun bitch, though.
Jesus. Wow. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK. We did say or worse.
Hello, Terrell. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, fellas. We're very hard.
Hola.
So I am the splitting image of my father. So my mom and my dad met in the Army. My dad got out before my mom, so I had to live with my dad when I was born until I was 2 years old. Didn't see the man again until I was 30. The only reason why I knew what he looked like, because I had a picture for my second birthday, and my mom always said, when you see a man that looks just like you, that's your father.
That's all she said.
That's weird.
You'll find him.
Does that mean that he looks exceptionally unique?
No. Like, we are both very handsome men, and we're both cocky, and like, I think I look really good. I've been told that over and over again, and him too. So, fast forward to 2012. I get out of prison. And then I fly to New York because I get a message from my father's brother's daughter, my cousin. So I fly to New York to go meet my family. And when I get there, we're all around where the Twin Towers used to be by the infinity pool or whatever. And I see my cousin, and I see this old guy. And I'm like, who is this old dude that looks just like me? And I'm like, holy S. My mom always said, when you see a guy that looks just like you, that's your father. And yeah, that was him. Same mannerisms, we walk the same, we look the same, we both have anger problems. It's uncanny. it's uncanny how he didn't even raise me, right? I give him credit from when I was born when I was 2 years old. But from 2 to 30, I never needed a man.
But it is weird, the mannerisms, because it's crazy, man. I'll look at my daughter will talk about something, and depending on the emotion she's going through, she has like 3 facial expressions that are exactly like my father's, right? And and they don't look alike, but it's the exact expression. And I'm like, this is goddamn crazy. You know what I mean? It's just, it is, but yeah, the way you move, the way you hand gesture.
My daughter looks like my mom.
Which, thank God.
I know, that's weird. Well, I mean, it's good for her.
Yeah.
It's, for me, I just look at her and go like, oh, God, you look like my mom.
Well, it is weird, man. My parents' wedding picture, I hadn't seen it. My mother showed me like maybe 10 years ago. I see it for the first time. And she said, you're going to freak out. What are you talking about, right? Because I've always just known them to look the way I perceive. I look at this wedding picture. It looks like my brother is marrying me in drag. I mean, honest to God. Yeah. My father grows his facial hair different head, but at that time, the way my dad looked, it's kind of how my brother looks now. But I mean, again, I'm looking at this black and white photo like, is this Adrian marrying me and I'm wearing a wig? Like, oh my God, dude. It's I can't even look at it. You know what I mean? It sounds terrible. Yeah. I hate looking at my parents' wedding photo because I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's just weird. Because all I see is my brother marrying me in drag.
The mannerisms are big.
It is.
Like me and my brother talk and a lot of look alike.
Yeah, you definitely look alike for sure.
But we talk but like even my cousins, like when we're all together, like I'll see them all here in a couple weeks. Like I brought girlfriends back east, I brought friends, and they're like, this is insane.
What, that everyone looks the same with the same mannerisms?
Everybody's kind of around the same height, same weight. Everybody has the same mannerisms, the jokes. And then in our family, it's like, if we start giving you a hard time, it means we like you. But it's ruthless.
Mm-hmm. And it's everybody.
It's everybody. And it doesn't stop, right? And God forbid you say it's upsetting you. Because then it's like a bunch of like snakes in a pit.
Right.
It's like, tap.
So when you guys all go out to dinner, it's like, is there always somebody making the shots at the waiter, the waitress, the jokes? Is it just...
Yeah. Somebody's always... The waiter or waitress will be okay. But it's just if there's somebody new in the group, right?
Right.
Let's say I go, Mike, come on back. You're going to a Maryland game. All right. Like, he'll have a blast. But the first hour he's there, he's not going to be sure.
He's getting roasted.
If they like him or not. Right? I'll have to say a couple times, like, hey, man, look, if they weren't talking to you, you know they don't.
Right.
But the fact they're roasting you, and everybody's doing the same, talking with their hands.
But even the height's about the same.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of variation in my family on height. That's good. But my dad's side of the family, they all look like my dad to me. So, like, the one was Miss USA. I'm like, I understand she's good looking. It's my dad in a wig. My other cousin, she's about to be in a Lifetime. What the hell? Oh, man, it's got the link. So she's wanting to be an actress. She's like 30 years old now, whatever. And we just got the link that she will be in a Lifetime movie on May 25th. I cannot remember.
We should have a watch party.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, man.
Let's do it.
I'm going to DVR it and watch it on my own time.
I'm going to watch it live.
Because I have to give her feedback about it. It's like Killer Prom Moms or... It's a Lifetime
this
movie.
is right up my alley.
Look up Brittany Q. Hill, all right? She's playing one of the lead roles in this. She's been trying to do this for years. She said she got into the business because of me, which makes me very, very proud, right? Because I seem to like what I do, blah, blah, blah. Like
Nightmare Pageant Moms?
Nightmare Pageant Moms.
Nightmare Pageant Moms.
Is this a horror movie?
No, this is
based on actual pageant moms, but fictional.
The synopsis. Can you read the synopsis?
Yep, hang on.
I read all this last week. I got the forward from her. I'm like, hey, congratulations.
Nightmare Pageant
You
Moms.
know I don't want to watch this.
Nightmare Pageant.
It's on. But I told her, look, if you can get a contract a Lifetime, you're set for life.
When Amelia, Brittany Q. Hill, and her daughter Sophie are left in an unexpected dire financial situation, they discover an intriguing option to pay for Sophie's college, entering a regional mother-daughter beauty pageant with a lucrative scholarship prize. Ooh. But they don't realize a competing mother-daughter team are willing to go to disturbing and dangerous lengths to win the crown.
Yeah.
Premiering on Lifetime Thursday, May 25th.
This is right up my alley. Yeah. This is
sounds like the life that I led.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy for her.
I'm watching
man.
this.
I
am watching.
I'm
this.
going to watch
we know.
the show.
We know her based on how you do. You look similar enough.
Yes.
To,
we do.
Oh my God.
All right. Yeah.
Here's
yeah. Look at the picture.
The doggone trailer.
Right.
She's right there.
That's not her.
That's the daughter.
There she is.
Yeah.
She's the one in purple.
so she's playing the mom.
Yeah, she's playing the mom.
Well, I watched the trailer. It's pretty easy to tell which one's related to Thrills. Seems like every other mom in this movie's white. So I'm like, I can tell that's. Plus, I follow her on Twitter.
Do you follow her on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I know you don't play spades, but you play Uno.
Yeah.
Because I saw your cousin giving you crap.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I watched the trailer and I'm like, oh my God. I just wanted her to do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit again. I'm very. You know what it is? It's the equivalent of your kindergartner bringing home a Father's Day card they made for you. It looks like garbage.
No, but it's misspelled. But the message.
But it matters to you, and you throw it away when they're not looking. So it's kind of like that. I mean, look, again, I don't know. Maybe she'll be great in it. It's a Lifetime movie, so I just...
I used to get cards that said stuff like I like you sometimes. Or just but I will love you always.
Sometimes.
Happy Totter's Day.
I saved those.
Right.
Totter's Day? Like, can't you write an F?
Dumbass.
For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
The hell they teaching you at that school?
Hello, Dion. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, amigas.
Hola.
Love your show, man.
Thank you, brother.
I'll try to make it brief. It starts sad, but could end up to a very positive thing. When I was 4 years old and 3 or 4, I lived in Texas because I had to come down from Montana. Dad got out of Vietnam. Well, one day a salesman come over, Texaco salesman, and Mom answered the door, and I kind of blurted out, "Oh, he's bald-headed." Boy, did I get the you-know-what whipped out of me on that one.
Because you pointed out that he was bald?
Oh, yeah, I got pounded pretty good with that belt. But then a little later, Dad comes in, and he's back. And I remember getting thrown in my crib because he was freaking out on some stuff he brought back from Nam, probably some acid. So I suffered abuse till the year 1978 or 9. Physically through him, and then from there on, I always had people, employers, bosses, co-workers, telling me that I can't do this. Even uncles, I can't do this, can't do that, and it sent me into a big depression. But it made me firm to my beliefs and my studies, which was the Vietnam War, of course, rock and roll in the 80s. Hey, okay, LOL, back in the day from Houston. And so now it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm thinking, hey, why don't we get a gig at the Walmart Theater 2 nights? We film it. We bring in Michael Schenker, UFO, Ace Frehley, Yuli John Roth, whoever else, and do a 2 thing for Mental Health Awareness Month next year. And promote it very heavily. I'm very good at promoting. Very good. I studied it very well. And do a thing next year and do it at the Walmart Theater. What is the seating capacity at the Walmart? Well, we could do a 2-night gig over there for mental health awareness.
It's pretty substantial. That's a big room.
Yeah, you could people that were told they can't do anything, they might, like me. I fell in love with guitar when I started listening to the Allman Brothers, Rolling Stones, 1971, Bad Company, Deep Purple. I'm 58 and have been around since 71, and I do have a little promotership in me, and I'd like to see a mental health awareness thing like that put together where people could see some of the greatest guitar players in the world that might come down, or maybe people will volunteer for those with depression, like myself. Can maybe I think in 6 months I could be smoking a lot of people.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, our company, believe it or not, we dedicate a lot of time to that. I know VD back there, as much as we give him a hard time, he's one of the main guys responsible for I'm Listening, and he produces that show every year. Yep. It airs on every station that
like
Odyssey
Duff
has.
McKagan has checked in. I mean, you're right, man. You can reach out to people. You'd be surprised.
And they do shows. They do shows around the country.
Well, if you film it, if you know you're going to film it and you're going to make some revenue and plus cost a ticket, I mean, if you're going to see Ace Frehley, Michael Schenker, UFO, Yuli John Roth, and Anvil over 2 nights.
Did you say Anvil?
He said Anvil.
Oh, my God, man.
I saw Anvil at Studio 7. That was one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life.
They're kind of
I got onto their album, Forged in Fire. I got onto their album, Forged in Fire, in 1983.
Yeah, they're kind of like a living Spinal Tap.
It's seriously.
I mean, that's serious.
They
did a documentary about that band, yeah.
They did. Basically, the fact it's still around. Real quick, Miles. Just so you know, people are checking in. They have suspenders that are made to go underneath your shirt. Great for holding up your pants, and you don't.
Wait a minute, I'm going to get my nipples rubbed raw. Probably.
Oh, look at this.
He came in the studio.
Well, shameless plug. I really appreciate his phone call, and it is Mental Wellness Month in May, and the I'm Listening platform of the company, I do run the show, and it's a 365 initiative.
I noticed that they had a big ceremony in New York City, and they gave everyone an award, and you weren't there.
That's right. I was here. Yeah, I had multiple jobs for the company.
We saw hair clubs.
Everybody else got credit.
Yeah, Dave and Susan and Jeff were there, and Tiki Barber.
Tiki Barber.
Yeah, so
you missed all that. They probably had free dinner.
But this weekend we are running 2 specials during our public affairs about mental health awareness with our partners, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, about all of the resources and the help that are out there for everybody. And it's not just about suicide; it is about mental health awareness and making sure that you know it is okay to not be okay, and talk really has the power to save lives, and that's what we're here to do, is to just remove all of the roadblocks and all the stops in the way and say, if you're not doing well, say something, whether it's to a friend or professional. There's help. Just talking about it is part of the solution.
You know, good for you. And there's showboating and about what you do. Can you get Michael Schenker?
I will try.
Can you get Anvil?
I'm taking all this audio.
All right.
I'm taking all this audio to my team, and we're actually going to start working on this, because if we can make it happen, I'll make it happen.
Can you bring back all the members of Freely's Comet?
No.
Okay.
No,
just
Ace.
He's not a miracle man.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not that.
How about
good.
the Vinnie Vincent invasion? Maybe as a backup.
I mean, I'm keeping notes.
Okay.
Keeping notes. So,
for better
back
or
to your show.
Yes. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Sven. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys.
Hola.
Hola. It was good seeing you guys there at Tony V's the other night.
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate
remember
it.
part of that.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, I was surprised, Thrill, when you actually remembered my name from one of the emails. Like, didn't you send something in?
Because your name is Sven.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's Sven. You're the only Sven I know.
Right. Our studios are not in Ballard.
I've met only one here in the United States, but I've met a lot around the world. I used to travel the world, so that's the good thing I got from my father's side of the family. He used to be a merchant marine, or he still is a merchant marine engineer, so I used to be a merchant marine engineer.
What exactly is a merchant marine? Like, what if you're a merchant marine? What exactly is it you do?
That's like the civilian version of a sailor.
Okay, all right.
So those are the guys that if there's a draft, you're automatically into that draft because of your job where you're gone for typically 6 months out of the year.
And you have no idea where you're going until they give you that assignment.
Nope. I was on probation even then when I was doing that, and they're like, so where are you going to go? I was like, well, I'm flying to meet the ship in this country, but I don't know after that. And I spent about a little over 2 weeks in North Korea. That was a fun place.
North Korea. I've heard that it's wonderful.
How were you able to do that?
So that was back in the late 2000s when Kim Jong-un was running the country, and they got 100,000 metric tons of food to dismantle their nuclear weapons program.
I remember
and my
that.
ship took one of the loads of food to them.
Wow. You know, Kim Jong-un could dunk a basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
So can his son.
Yeah, the most amazing thing was 9 holes in one in 18 holes of golf.
Wow.
That guy was amazing.
So good. And his son has done the same thing. That's what's amazing about it. That's what he got from his
son
dad.
got his haircut.
Yes.
They kind of did that thing. Well, that's pretty cool that you did the same thing your dad did.
No, it's not, because I used to be a bad alcoholic like him. Well, no, that's the other side of my story, is that if I continued to be like him, I would be a bad alcoholic. I was a bad alcoholic. I was drinking like 3 to 4 half gallons of whiskey every week because I used to think it was a blessing that I don't get hangovers. Now I think it was a little bit more of a curse. So I got in an accident, and I fractured 6 vertebrae in my neck, and I broke my skull and was in a coma for a little while. And I got out of the coma, and I still wasn't right upstairs, and I started drinking again. I got in another accident and totaled that car. No injuries that time. But if I didn't change my ways and be more like my mother, then I would be screwed and probably be in prison or dead, because I spent over 2 months where when your arm falls asleep, it was like that from the neck down for me for over 2 months. That's how close I came to being a quadriplegic. So that's what changed me from being a bad alcoholic to being a changed alcoholic, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Come on, men, put your backs into it. Captain, you might consider talking to a specialist about your anxiety. I can't do that without a referral from my doctor, and I marooned him on an island. If you have a Pacific Source health plan, Captain, you're not required to have a referral. Pacific Source health plans, you say? Excellent. I've done some of my best work in the Pacific.
No referrals required to see a specialist. Just another way Pacific Source Health Plans goes beyond what's required. Visit PacificSourceMembersFirst.com.
Hey there, it's your friend Stormy Warren here, and I want to invite you to my new home, the Big 615, exclusively on TuneIn. So what is the Big 615? Well, simply put, it's the official home of country music broadcasting live from Nashville to the world. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Get the latest on country music from your favorite artists to the hottest songs climbing up the charts. Oh, and it's commercial free. That means a whole lot more music and a whole lot more country. Hear it all on the Stormy Warren Show, weekdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. And I look forward to having you join me on the Big 615.
This is your country station.
The Big 615.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
The last person you want to be Eskimo Brothers with.
I knew it wasn't me.
That is funny. We head to Kentucky. Joseph Lanham and his son Joseph were arrested Wednesday night by Jeffersontown police for trafficking hundreds of pounds of marijuana in Louisville. According to documents, police officers executed a search warrant at their Pine Lake Drive home. Inside, they found a number of weapons as well as designer merchandise, thousands of dollars in cash, and more than 20 pounds of marijuana.
Ooh, I like these people.
Should be noted that was only one of the 5 properties that they searched from the Lanham family. We do expect more search warrants to be executed. They only did one house.
One of 5.
Yeah, there are 4 more. We do expect to find more. Even though they were arrested, this is just the beginning of the end of the Lanham drug operation. The operation has been going on for 2 years. We are talking well into the millions of dollars category.
Damn.
Easily over hundreds of thousands of pounds of marijuana. Lauder said in the 2 years they spent investigating, they watched Joseph Lanham and his 19-year-old son, Joseph Lanham, transport marijuana from California to Louisville to sell. Police believe the two used that drug money to buy several rental properties across town, along with jewelry and other items. Do you know how they busted them?
I do. I read that part.
Lauder said the spending spree tipped off the IRS because neither the father or the son had a job.
You got it. At what age do you pull your son into the drug selling business? Now, as I know your dad had you help him, de-seed his weed back in the day?
That is correct.
But yes. He wasn't selling. I mean, this was just for his consumption, correct?
Oh, yes, he was.
Oh, he was selling.
Oh, yeah, but I never sold marijuana.
Right.
I mean, that was never one of my things. I said from early on, just based on the fact that it was illegal, I was already towing that line of smoking it and getting busted for that, some type of possession. But there was a huge difference in that era of being busted for possession or intent to distribute or distribution.
It's the same now.
And one is a prison sentence, and the other, even if it was just a small amount, you're going to jail for a few days.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And that was one thing I was like, look, I can afford to buy my own weed, even if I have to sell my roommate's CDs that he doesn't know about. Or, however, I
can afford to do it if I steal someone else's crap.
Whatever I had to do to get money, I'm all about that. You know, like back in the day, what the hell? I mean, maybe snag a pair of concert tickets.
Well, like how comfortable you are with that. I can afford my own weed. That's right. I'll steal some of my roommate's CDs and sell them. But that's how I make money.
There is certain lines you won't, I'm with you. Like when I first moved here, I started smoking weed, but it wasn't legal yet.
Yeah.
And I'd fly back to Maryland, and there was like one person in my family who always had weed. I'm like, I don't feel like hanging out with them. Yeah. Like, it's not worth it. Because then you're kind of, you're kind of at, like, now you got to hang out with them.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, I never sold. I mean, I would buy. I was a great buyer. You know, it's like going to the store. I don't own this merchandise, but I will purchase some of it from you.
But it's always an empty store. There was never anything there. It was always like,
right. The store opens in 3 hours.
Doug's going to call me at 11, man. All right. And then, 4 days go by. No, man, haven't heard from Doug. Don't know what's going on.
I actually got grief. I will not say what event I was at recently. I got grief. I didn't realize everyone expected me to be carrying weed on me. And normally I have it on me. I was not thinking about it for this particular event. So different people were coming up like, hey, man, did you bring any bud? I'm like, oh, no, man, actually, I didn't. Like, what?
So this was not a station event, then?
This definitely was not a station event.
No. Not if people randomly coming up to you.
Oh.
So,
I have a feeling what kind of event this might have been.
That took me a second.
So they're all trying to act straight and narrow. And I'm like, what? Dude, it's legal.
Right, just go next door.
Right. Why is it on me to bring bud for you in a place where it's perfectly legal? And the thing is, one of the last times I brought weed to this particular event that happens annually, I was asked by several of the wives of several husbands, what did you guys smoke? I'm like, they were just smoking weed. I guess their husbands don't smoke it much, so this is like their special night out or something, but like they were all just zoned out, sitting at the table with their mouths open, staring at the wall, and I'm like, look, man, that's on them. They came to me, I gave them 2 hits, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, I do this all the time. It's just, they don't know what they're doing.
It's tough, though. Because I've run into this issue too, right? Like, and people are just like, oh yeah, hand it over. Like, okay. And then like half hour later, you're in the bar and you're like, Jesus Christ, man, you're a mess.
Like, come on, man, get it together.
Actually, I haven't smoked in 6 years.
Why didn't you tell me that?
Why now?
See, they never tell you that.
Yeah.
And then I got all your wives.
Because I got drunk and I figured, what the hell?
Right.
Worst time.
That's not the time to
Worst
do it.
time.
Right.
Worst
and all
time.
these wives are mad at me. I'm like, yo, man, they can't handle the smoke. I don't know what to tell you. They came to me. I was already outside. I'm smoking. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
It's a very social thing.
It's like telling someone to do mushrooms and then do an escape room.
Right.
Oh, my God.
No, not the right scenario. This is not the right time to do this.
I kind of want to do that now.
Pick a better venue. Pick a better
come
venue.
on, man.
No.
Let's all do shrooms, go into an escape room, and see how we do.
No!
Could you imagine going to shrooms at a sporting event where you cared about the team? Because all you'd be doing was laughing the whole time.
He threw another pig.
Oh, my God, pick six again. Maybe it'd be better, depending on your team.
Depending on your team, it might be a better experience, yes.
Depends on the team and the sporting event.
It'd be hard to keep up with hockey. Hockey is fast, man.
It is way too fast.
That would probably be the hardest sport. Well, or maybe you're laser focused and you're just zoned in on the play.
I don't feel laser focused on shrooms. Like on shrooms, I'm real happy, but laser focus is not.
And maybe with the new rules, baseball, it could be a little bit better, but then it would be one of those things like, man, hurry up. Oh, man, they're bringing in another pitcher.
I think football is the perfect sport. 6 seconds of action, 35 seconds to recover.
I say
6
soccer.
seconds of action.
I say soccer. 90 minutes.
But you got to follow the ball, man.
Yeah, but I could do that. And it's 90 minutes. Yes, it could. It's obviously going to have 5 to 10 minutes of extra time. But now we're only talking about an hour and 40 minutes.
I can attest this much. Mike and I were not on mushrooms, but we were at a game last summer out in the bleachers.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys behind us, like, 2 of them were having a good time. 2 of them you could tell were a little messed up. We couldn't really figure out what it was, right? Like, I went to get a beer. I came back. They were in my seats. And Marshawn just goes, just don't sweat it. Like, they're partying. Just right. We were like, yeah, no big deal. Then they kept trying to buy my hat because I have one of those pink Mariners hats. Yeah. And they, like, wouldn't let it go. To the point I was getting nervous because I was like, they're so messed up. So at some point, they have let us know that a couple of them are on mushrooms. Right. But the 2 dudes on mushrooms could not keep it together. Mm-hmm. Mike, what was that?
Were they laughing? Were they
just like the 5th or 6th inning? They were just like, we got to get out of here. Yeah. They were just antsy. That would be my big issue, right?
Sure.
Because you're just in a seat. Like at a music festival, you can walk around.
Right.
You're watching a band, right? Like they just couldn't handle it anymore. And like I think after they offered me $50 cash, then I'm pretty sure one of them said, "Let's just take it." That's I was like, oh my God. So I was glad they left.
Why don't we do a show on like Discovery or History Channel? Like, look, we did different drugs at different sporting events. Today, we're doing cocaine. We went to this. Not a good sport for it. We did mushrooms. Right?
Chess. The national chess finals.
Right. And you follow us. You follow us for one season. We go to different events, run different drugs, and we tell you how it worked out.
Sounds like we need to start a YouTube channel.
That's what I'm saying. But each one of us is on a different drug. So, Mike, you're on heroin.
That would not work.
Ted, you smoked crack.
Oh.
You don't crack.
Mike's on heroin.
He's
all
always
right.
in the bathroom all the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. Where am I going to smoke it in the stadium?
Right. But here's the thing. That's what you explained on the channel. Like, the worst part about crack is that the high goes away really quickly. I want to re-up, right? But there's nowhere safe to do it.
What are you jamokes on?
No re-entry.
I'm doing shrooms.
Oh, sure, you get the fun
they get
one.
shrooms.
I'm on heroin,
No.
we're on crack.
No, we'll give Miles acid.
You get shrooms and acid. I got to smoke crack, and Mike's got to do heroin.
Heroin. What the hell?
You're doing it for the show, man. It's called research.
Why don't I just do meth and get it out of the way?
Well, that's the next episode, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike was there for a whole 4-game series. Why? Because he was smoking meth. He said the Mariners are going to win one game this weekend.
You guys want Mike, you want a hot dog? Nah.
Go to a golf tournament on cocaine. See how that works.
Oh, my God.
Well, hey, look, there's no chance. People have done cocaine in NFL games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the players.
Just look at the top of the toilet dispenser.
Right. If there's a golf tournament, I assume, let's just call it what it is. A bunch of white people playing golf that have money. There's cocaine there.
Yeah, but man, you're not. But you're not going to just focus on the game. You know what I mean, dude?
You don't know golfers.
Well,
the golfers might, but I'm saying if you're watching the sport, it's
watching.
Got to re-up. I will be right back. Meet you on the 8th hole.
Yeah, I'm done.
I would say, 16th green, Phoenix Open. It's happened.
Right. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Breck. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
It's kind of comical that you guys were just talking about drugs, because that's what my story's about. Yay. So, for the better, I am totally not like my parents, because they actually were meth and heroin addicts when I was a kid.
Oh, like Ted and Mike, right?
Yeah. And I actually paint it as a very positive experience, because I know, like, statistically, you're more likely to become addicts if you have parents had addicts, and it was a great thing, because it helped me to know what type of human not to be. So I always had, even though, didn't have a lot of food growing up, and it was really hard going through all these violent crap as a kid, I graduated high school, was the first in my family to do that. And then I joined the Army, got my degree, got a master's degree. Now I'm an engineer, making good money. And
so now your family calls you for money?
No, never. They never asked me for anything. Me and my dad talked. He got clean when I was about 20. So, and then my mom passed away from it. So, it's been good.
You were the first in your family to graduate high school. Wow, man. You hear that a lot about college, right? But high school, that has to be a crazy thing.
But you took that to a different level and still even got a master's degree, even after serving. So that's impressive.
Yeah, not to go up, but I got 2 bachelor's degrees, and then I got a master's degree. And then, I grew up with my great grandma, and she instilled in me, you have to get your education. And I feel that if I didn't go to college, my great grandma would come up out of her grave and just slap me all the kingdom come. Mm-hmm. I tell you what.
Yeah, well, man, sometimes
climb out of her grave just to bitch slap you.
In the sports world, they call that bulletin board fodder. For the most part.
Right.
Look, here's what you should not do, or here's what you can't do a lot of the time.
Exactly, what you can't do.
Or, if your family's never graduated, then you're just under the assumption that you can't graduate, or whatever that is. I'm going to prove you wrong.
So what was your master's in again?
My master's is actually in environmental geospatial information science.
That's what I thought.
That's a mouthful.
All right. So you have your master's in this. What do you do? What is the job that goes?
Right now, I'm an electrical engineer that does power distribution. So you see all the power poles. We design all those that need to be replaced and stuff like that. But I also do a lot of urban development. So especially with EVs and stuff. So we're upgrading the power grid to build the cities of tomorrow, basically.
Okay. All right. What are the poles made of? I don't know what wood. Because all right, because they're treated, and when you look at them, it's kind of hard to identify what type of wood that is.
Yeah, unless they're metal, and then obviously you can tell that they're metal.
Yeah. Has anyone else ever wondered what the hell wood power poles are? It's never crossed my mind.
No, when you look at them,
kind of wood? I've always just thought they're wood, and I stopped.
I've walked by them before, where there are 3 or 4 of them that they're replacing on the sidewalk.
Sure.
So you walk by them and you're looking at them like, what is this tree? I have been in the woods, East Coast, West Coast. I've never, and it obviously it's treated in some type of an oil, or I don't know what the hell.
So what kind of wood did you say they were?
Douglas fir.
Douglas fir.
And the old ones, if they're roughly 40 years old or more, they could be Western cedar. because back in the day they just kind of cut down anything and made it now. But all wood poles are installed basically past 75, 77.
All right, when you take one,
Douglas fir.
What is the timeline on those? Like, so when you install a new wooden pole, even the updated ones, right? Like, how long, without someone driving into it, do they suspect it's going to last?
40 years is the mark.
Okay.
Now, when you take one down, could you cord it up and burn it, or is it just too treated with crap to be able to do
they recycle. They recycle it all. It all gets recycled into various things because a lot of the time, older poles don't have their tar on it anymore, and so they can basically grind it up and turn it into like chip feed to make particle board out of.
All right. Okay.
So
that's cool.
Well, damn good on you, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's also kind of annoying. Like, well, I have 2 degrees. I also have my master's. I'm like, I have nothing.
For better or worse, well, you put that up in your living room.
I can't, you know what, man?
I don't even have a college credit.
One thing that my mother gave me, we went to visit them about a month ago down in Mexico, and as they're unpacking boxes, she found my old high school diploma. So she's like, hey, man, hands it to me.
Nice.
And, you know, I kind of pop it open, and I forgot. I remember this at the time. I totally forgot. So I opened it up, and there are a lot of things that happened in high school, and I know I was not particularly popular, save the principal, for various reasons. So my mother's convinced that they did this on purpose. They spelled my name wrong. They spelled it with a PH instead of the V.
Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen Hill.
Yeah,
it's Stephen Hill. And my mother's like, you know they did it on purpose because Miss Malachi hated you because you're an a-hole to her. I'm like, I know this, but seriously.
Miss Malachi?
Miss Malachi.
That does not sound like that could be a friendly person.
She wasn't a friendly person. And I won't go through all of our issues.
I'm not doing the children of the corn.
But,
but
at one point, I told her to go F herself, all right? And I got expelled. But I was getting expelled from school, whatever. My mother takes me back like 3 weeks later, and one of the first things Miss Malachi says is, do you want to tell your mother what you told me? I said to go F yourself part or something else. So, obviously, my mother was not pleased, but I just wanted to tell Miss Malachi to go F herself again. Whatever. My mother works it all out. Go back in school. This lady hated me. I hated hers. Understood. Doesn't matter. Business is business. Personal is personal. Well, after I graduate, she left my high school and went to a different high school. And she went to the high school that my buddy Tony went to. Right? And oh, man, Miss Malachi. I'm like, dude, she's a bitch. Blah, 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 blah. So he got in trouble for something. And he thought he was going to get a slap on the wrist. And then he name-dropped me.
Why did he do that?
That's what I said. She suspended him. He's like, it should have been, you know what I mean, some small thing. He's
what
like,
do you think?
Oh, weren't you at Southern High School? Right. She's like, yeah. Oh, one of my best friends, man, Stephen Hill. She's like, yeah, you're suspended. It's like, I was like, bro, do not mention me to her. This will never work in your favor. Damn. Don't ever mention me to her. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Our question, for better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift. Whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby. Or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhale out.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, for better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the Men's Room.
¿Qué onda, bichola?
Hola.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Good. Okay, so this is strange. So, my mother passed away when I was a baby, so I didn't really get to know her. But I looked at photos of her and my father, and I started to think about it, and I noticed that my mom was 5'2", my dad was 6'4", so that's a foot and 2 inches. I'm 5'7", and my husband was 6'9". So we both married partners that are a foot and 2 inches different.
Can you even kiss each other? I mean, standing up?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going on 30 years, buddy. I've got that thing locked down. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Have you? Well, we do have some questions. It's logistically in the bedroom. Does the height difference? Are there any adjustments you make? Does it work to your benefit, or is it a detriment?
Everything works to my benefit.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
A bed that fits, that his feet don't hang off of. So when we go to hotels or someplace myself. It can be frustrating, or the shower heads, they're always way too low. I duck in door frames for him because I'm afraid he's going to hit his head.
You're just so used to doing it. How expensive are his clothes as far as just finding a pair of pants that makes it to his ankles and stuff?
Yeah, it's very expensive. You cannot find them in stores. You have to order, back in the day from catalogs, but now online. But here's the kicker. My son is 6'11".
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God. How old is your son? Hello?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I said, how old is he?
Your son.
Yeah, it's very, very, very difficult. He was 8 pounds, 8 ounces,
Is he
almost 12 pounds.
Is he still growing, or has he stopped growing?
He stopped growing. He's 25. The other one is 20. So the other one is about 6'2", and he's probably got another 3 years of growing left.
Wow.
So did your older son, did he grow past the age of 18? Was it one of those deals?
Yeah, he did. Usually, I want to say between 21 and 23. He stopped growing around 23, and so did my husband.
Your husband's father, was he also tall?
Yes, he is 6'5" or 6'6", and my mother-in-law is like 5'9", 5'10". My sister-in-law is 6 foot. So yeah.
That's a tall family.
What about when they were younger, growing pains, right? I went through growing pains when I was a kid, but I'm 6'4". My daughter has very long legs, went through growing pains a few months ago, but I got to think your kids had to be in agony, right?
Yeah. My youngest used to cry so much. His legs and his feet, the growing pains. We went to an all-natural store in California where we lived, and they gave us, I want to say it was grapeseed oil, but some type of oil that you just rub, topically, and it seemed to help somewhat. I mean, it didn't take it away completely, but yeah.
Your oldest son, who's 6'11", what size shoe does he wear?
He wears 14, 15.
Okay, so I would assume that's difficult to find as well. As long as
It is, yeah, especially because he likes, Nikes and Doc Martens and stuff like that, so, yeah.
I got to ask the obvious question. Did any of the family play basketball, just based on their height advantage?
Absolutely, yes. My husband used to play for Azusa Pacific in California, and actually when we first started dating, he played on some community leagues, adult leagues that were like right across the street from my apartment. The only two white people in North Hollywood, and we didn't bump into each other. I don't know how that happened.
All right.
Crazy. But so he used to play on different adult leagues, and one of the leagues was Brian McKnight's team. The singer. And he had a bunch of famous friends that used to play on that team, and they'd come in the gym with their matching outfits and jerseys and shoes and all of that. And my husband's team, they're all mismatched and whatever, and my husband would score 50, 60 on them, and he got very specific. So,
was he on Brian McKnight's team?
No. He played against his team.
All right, because Brian McKnight, legendary, can hoop.
Yeah, that's
like it's like an understood thing within the LA community. Brian, he doesn't play around.
All right, here's a question for you, Alex. If someone were to take a picture of you and your husband, is it even possible to take a horizontal picture and have both of your heads? I mean, does it have to be a vertical shot?
No, all the time. It usually has to be up and down, yeah. But if we're sitting down, it's usually, fine. But, unless I wear heels, which I don't wear grown women's shoes because they're uncomfortable as hell. So,
Do you guys have a California king?
Yes. Well, actually, we have a California split king.
What is that? What is a split king?
That is basically two extra long twins that you push to get that are have their own bases because you can lift one side. You can lift the different sides.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So yes, but finding sheets is a real pain in the ass, let me just tell you.
Okay, I have two. One, what is his biggest complaint being 6'11"? Because you brought up the shower heads, door frames, all that, but I'm sure airplanes suck.
Yeah, it's like, do you have to fly first class all the time?
No, well, we can't afford first class, but he actually just took a trip to Florida, and my husband, being the big sweetheart teddy bear that he is, there was a woman that was sitting next to him, and she wanted to be closer to her family, so he originally had an aisle seat and gave it up and went and sat at the window seat so she could sit closer to her family. He said he was so uncomfortable. So when we fly, I try to get him in the exit rows because those have more leg room, or if we can upgrade to business class, we will.
And one last thing, not to be morbid, but in the event of his death, you got to cremate his big ass. Do you know how much it would cost for a coffin? Like, I'm sorry. I'd be like, hey, man, F your wishes. We're burning your ass.
Yeah, I know. That'd be a really big coffin. It absolutely would. But hopefully I don't have to deal with that for a very, very long time. I already told him that I have to go first anyway, so.
What, did he say I'm planning on it? Because you should be nervous if he did.
Well, what is, if you don't mind me asking me, what is his profession? I know he doesn't work on submarines. What does he do for a living?
He is a transportation super manager for a cabinet company.
All right, okay.
I thought you were going to say he worked as a lighthouse. They just handed him a flashlight. Like, just stand on the cliff.
Exactly. No, and it's funny because I'm afraid of heights, and so whenever we need some work done up high, he's like, I'm not getting on that ladder. I'm like, why, are you afraid of heights? And he goes, that high? Yeah, absolutely.
His center of gravity is like where most people's foreheads are. I mean, he has to be uncomfortable. Just so you know, Alex, someone just chimed in and says her husband is 6'11" as well, 6'11" and a half. She's 5'2" and a quarter.
That's what I'm saying. She's you're 5'7", which isn't like really short for a woman.
No,
but
not
right. 5'2", 6'11".
That is.
Has your husband ever given you a piggyback ride?
Mm-hmm. Well, when we were younger, yes.
That had to be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like being
a carnival ride.
It's like being at the Space Needle at that point.
Well, still to this day, I will stand like on our stairs, second step up or third step up, just so I could be eye to eye with him, and give him a real kiss instead of him having to bend down. So.
How many times has he taken a header?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, I would guess so.
A lot, yeah. He told me the story. He was his family's from the South, and they were moving some furniture or something, and they came down this stairway that had like a turn or whatever, and it had a real low ceiling, and bam, it just, smacked him, and, I don't know if he lost consciousness, but I know it hurt for a while, so.
Yeah. You know what I'd love to do, Alex, and I can't do it. I would love to get you guys concert tickets, but I want to put you guys up front just to see how many people are pissed off when they see his big giant ass.
Movie theater, he's the worst guy at movie theater. Worst guy at a sporting event, concert.
I think about that all the time when we go to like the movies or a concert or a sporting event and stuff like that, because you want to be as close as you can. And he's like, I'm not, scooching down that far, so you better hope somebody's tall behind us or something, I'm like, oh. Yeah, it is what it is. What can you do?
Ooh, one last thing. What kind of vehicle does he drive? Because there's not a lot of vehicles that accommodate a 6'11" frame.
A Mini Cooper.
So, actually, the Mini Coopers have a lot of legroom. It's really funny. So, our first date, he picked me up in a 5.0 Mustang. Which he had, the smaller cars have more leg room than anything. But I don't like the small cars. I like, like mid-sized SUV type vehicles or pickup trucks. So he drives an Infiniti, but, when we go to test drive cars, that's the first thing that we're looking at.
Yeah.
And my dad used to have a Mitsubishi Montero that he ripped out the front seat and sat in the back seat. That was the driver's seat, because there's no leg rooms in those at all.
I don't even know if that's legal.
Maybe not, but I think if you stepped out of the vehicle,
it would explain itself.
Like, oh, right, never mind. Mm-hmm. Well, damn, man, that is
interesting stuff.
6'11".
For her son.
Like, people always say, hey, man, I want to be tall. It's like, there's a point where, like, you're too tall.
Also, this seems like a lot more food. Like, if you're that big, do you eat more? You got to be, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm just trying to think about feeding a 6'11" son.
You're going to weigh more just because there's more of you, but it doesn't.
6'2" kid.
But it doesn't mean you're fat. You know what I mean?
I'm
There's
not
just
saying
so
that
much
you're fat.
body.
Right. Your body would need a lot more nutrition and a lot more energy just based on your height and your weight. That's your whole BMI idea as far as how they do that. So I would assume that your body would have to eat more.
See, I wonder about things, and this might be stupid, and chances are it is because I'm not bright. But, right, the average person has X number of pints of blood in their body. All right. But if you're 6'11", does your body have to produce more? You know what I mean?
I would think that you'd have more blood.
And if you hang upside down and, like, blood rushes to our head, okay? Like, you already get that, and everyone knows that sensation. Like, is it worse? Just so much, it's
so
going
much more
farther,
blood.
it's going fast. I don't know.
But your poop's bigger. You know,
yeah, I mean, everything, man. What is it when you're sitting on the toilet? Are your knees next to your ears?
Well, that would be a really hard thing to do in an airplane bathroom, man. That is the one. I can't. I mean, the hell with sitting in the seat, which is already a nightmare if you're that tall, I'm sure. But
and they have the way
the way they slope those ceilings into the fuselage, because your head's already up against.
But you'd have to lean forward, and you don't want to lean down closer to where you're pooping from. You know what I mean? But if you're 6'11", I feel like you have to curl up, so your forehead's getting closer to your knees. Meanwhile, you're getting down where you're doing your dirty business.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of an international flight, I bet you have to be very particular. Like, you poop before you get on the plane.
Well, I tell you what, I know why maybe the Navy does not have a height requirement, but after touring the Midway this past weekend down in San Diego, my head was close. I'm a 5'10". You know, I'm not 6 feet anymore. So he was still, I mean, there was pads
You're
up
not
everywhere.
6 feet anymore?
No, I'm pretty sure I keep shrinking the older I get.
I think you keep telling people you are.
Yeah.
I think they still have a height requirement, though. Isn't that how the Admiral, David Robinson, isn't that how he didn't end up? Because, I mean, granted, he got drafted by the NBA, but I think that was one of the things.
Because he's so big.
He grew so tall when he was at the Naval Academy that they were like, oh, you're not going to serve.
But, I mean, there's certain things that are just, like, I want to be a fighter pilot. Like, you're not going to be one. It's not designed for you to fit. I want to be an astronaut. Not designed for you to fit, right? So all those things go out the window.
God, Robinson, Duncan, and now the guy from France. Spurs not a draft a center. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
Apparently, according to the internet, tall people have more blood.
Okay. So it wasn't a stupid question. Thank God.
No,
because that was a dumbass question.
But I
it
think
just
they eat
seems
more.
Yeah.
Like, you get 3 cookies. I get 2. You get 3.
Yeah, if you're that big, I'm going to
you get 4. I'm just saying. All you can eat buffet, I think it's a 3-plater.
Oh.
I'm a 2-plater. I think it's a 3-plater.
I mean, you're not wrong. Because, like, I had a buddy Weave, another buddy named Andrew. I can't remember what his nickname was. But he played hoops. He was a tall dude. He had to be like 6'10", something like that. And then I was well over 300 pounds. So, like, I was just a fat dude. But, like, me and Sly and Weave would go to all-you-can-eat buffets on Friday. Like,
and they hated seeing both of them.
Oh, all 3 of us, because Weave was a big boy, too. But that was our thing. And you're right. Sly was thin as a whatever, but he could eat his ass off.
Do you hear about the competitive eater got kicked out of Golden Corral?
I watched the video today.
Wait, what?
They were trying to throw him out. I don't know if they did or not.
Well, I mean, you can't say it's all you can eat unless you compete, you know, for a competitive eating. Like, hey, man, he goes to restaurants, too.
You're right. He was just training.
He went there to train?
Yeah. It wasn't a competition. He was
just going there to see what
he was just eating a ton, and then one worker came up and was like, you've exceeded the limit. And then another guy, the way he told us, you just see him in the background, he's like, I think the dude is lower ranking than she is. But he's like, no, it's all you can eat. There's probably some rule in there.
There might be. I'm curious to know what that is, though.
Hey, if I'm bodybuilding in training, I'm going to the gym. If I'm competitive eating, where am I going to train?
That's the gym, Golden Corral.
The Rock on his cheat day. If Rock rolls into your all-you-can-eat buffet on Sunday, hey, homeboy's going to put down some food, man.
But it's happened before.
What do you mean?
Some sushi place that cut off a guy. Because same thing, it was like all you can eat, and he was just eating so much. They were like, no.
Then why don't they just change it to all we think you should eat? Right. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, if you're taking all the crab legs or the high-end stuff.
Right.
I see someone stepping in and go like, man, this is your last plate of crab legs. Right. Go back to the mac and cheese. Fill yourself up. Something. For better or worse, how are you like or not like your family? 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, really, the guy did a commercial for the restaurant, because it's like, I never think about going to Golden Corral. But I saw him eating it, and he's eating it all like, this is good. I was like, maybe I should go.
If he likes it, hey, man. Hello, Beverly. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, Alex kind of freaked me out because I actually just had my first son, and he was huge when he was born, and now I'm worried that I'm going to have a 6'11" son.
How huge was he?
He was 9 pounds when he was born, but he has rapidly grown. So he is 9 months old, and he is 29 inches long, and he weighs 31 pounds.
Does he just scream things like, "Get me a bucket"?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he could talk, he probably would.
I was 9 pounds 11 ounces. My mom always joked that I wrecked her,
but it was all your head.
Right? It was. I had a big
if
head.
you want me to be honest, I did it. I did, and I'm all right.
No epidural.
No.
You did not do an epidural, and you gave 9-pound baby.
No. So actually, the story goes is I talked a lot of crap. So I'm a waitress, and I talked a lot of crap to all my customers. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on my own. No, I was about maybe 10 minutes into my labor, and then that's when I decided that was not going to happen. I was in labor for 36 hours.
Ooh. Oh man. How long through your pregnancy did you continue to wait? So, in other words, when did you stop working?
5 days before he was born.
What did you say?
Days?
Now, did you ever just hang an unlit cigarette out of your mouth or anything to mess with anyone?
No. I grew up in the South, and I have a work ethic, and it's just me and my husband. We don't really have a lot of support.
Right. I would have to think that your tip percentage increases during this time based on your circumstances, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, my customers and my regulars were very, very good to me.
Yeah, I would be too.
You need them now. Yeah. Now that the kid's out, you still need that. Mm-hmm. They do not get cheaper. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So you said your kid's 9 months old, 31 pounds?
Yes.
Is his dad big?
Daddy is 6'1", and my father is 6'7".
So
was, you guys were talking about all that stuff. I was like, and I was coming up with all this stuff about how I'm not like my family, because I am definitely the black sheep. But I'll start with, I am the most academically successful of my family, but I'm also the only criminal. I have been arrested 16 times.
What? 16 times? Where did you live, Louisiana?
3 felonies.
For what?
Beverly used to like to drink a lot, and I was the bartender in downtown Seattle. I probably served one of y'all at one point. And I had a problem keeping my hands to myself.
As far as getting into fights?
Fights and, just starting crap with people or getting mad and destroying things. A lot of stuff there.
There's no way I ever went to one of your bars because I'm the kind of guy you'd have punched.
How many nights would you say you spent in jail?
Oh, overall in total, over 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last?
And actually, one of the biggest stories was, so the last time I was ever arrested, I'm sober almost 4 years because unfortunately I just can't drink. I'm just not a good drinker, y'all.
We believe you.
I tell you, man, I used to be fun. I really was.
I used to be fun.
Every parent says that. We know.
Yeah. Well, the last time I got arrested, it was because I had moved out of Washington 5 years prior, and I came back thinking nothing of it. And I'm standing at the bus stop, and I'm smoking a cigarette and, kind of just doing my thing. And all of a sudden, this police officer walks up to me and tells me he needs to give me a ticket for smoking a cigarette at the bus stop. Now, I'm not thinking anything of it. Whatever.
Right.
Yep. And not only that, I was so stalked. I didn't care. And he runs my name, and I'm like, oh, guys, I got to get on this bus. I'm going to miss this bus. And he's like, you know what, go ahead and go. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking I'm getting off the hook, right? And I know in the back of my mind, I know I have a warrant. I know I do. But I'm in Snohomish County, and I know the warrant's out of King County. And I'm like, okay, maybe he won't see it. Guys, I crap you not. This police officer pulled over the bus in the middle of the interstate, not have the bus pull over, in the middle of the interstate, and got on that bus and ripped me off and arrested me. And it gets better. And then they put me in King County. Then they transferred me to Whatcom County because they didn't have enough room. Then I went back to King County, and then I got transferred to Snohomish County, and then back to King County. All trips, right? And I was in jail for 96 days, and when I finally got in front of the judge, he said, why are you here? And I said, I thought I had a warrant for assault. He goes, I don't even know why you're here. And he said, it says you were arrested on a bus.
I said, I was arrested on a bus. Yes. He said, what did you do on the bus? I didn't do anything on the bus. I was getting on the bus. I was supposed to get a ticket. He didn't give me the ticket. And the next thing I know, I'm getting the crap beat out of me in the middle of I-5. And this really happened, y'all.
I believe you.
Believe me.
Why would you make that up?
I know. This is not a brag point. So what was the warrant for?
Assault. I have apparently got it. I don't remember. And even worse, just to let you know how bad my memory is, 2 years ago, and I've been sober almost 2 years ago, moving to this condo, right? And they run a background check, and I'm not thinking anything of it. And then I get this email, and they're like, hey, they ran your background. Do you want to see what your background is? I'm like, yeah, sure. I had no idea how bad. Now, arrested 16 times, y'all, that doesn't mean that was how many charges I have. I've been put in cuffs more than that.
You know we love you very much.
You might
if you have felony convictions, you should worry about that background check.
And one quick question.
No, I couldn't believe they let me move in.
Hey, Beverly, before we let you go, because we got to take a break, but first of all, call back anytime. But also, are you a redhead?
She is.
That's it. Somebody asked. All right, so somebody's been to your bar and knows it, just so you know.
Okay.
I like Beverly.
Who Sucks Less is coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Hey, y'all, it's Garth, the Big 615. You're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. That's the thing we call the Big 615.
Download the free TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. Or ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Less is on the way. First time for a few emails from The Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Had a couple from our question today, for better or worse. How are you like or not like your family? Steve, Thrill's 9 being the number of homes that you lived in growing up. Made me look there, Thrill. Grew up in the Army. The first 18 years of my life, 11 households from 1948 until 1966.
It's crazy. It's insane.
First time I counted places, schools, 1st to 12th, 12 of those from first grade in Southern California, grade through elementary in Asia, high school finished in Germany. So no worries about attending any reunions.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Probably don't know anybody. But Joel, my grandfather was a flying tiger in World War II. My brother was in Air Force as a mechanic working on A-10 Warthogs and then private jets. Most of the rest of my family works for a very large airline manufacturer. I'm an architect, the only one grounded, while the rest of my family is doing things in the sky. Family gatherings are riveting. Nothing but plane talk. Keep on rocking, guys. That from B-Dub. Oh, naked ladies, I was born in the 1970s. Growing up, it was common to smoke cigarettes. Parents, aunts, uncles, both sets of grandparents. Thankfully, I never picked up that habit. I do, in fact, smoke, but only the devil's lettuce. Rock on, bitches. That from Nevermore. As we move on to the birthdays. Guys, it is my son Torben's 20th birthday. He's beautiful, considerate, creative, hardworking, and has a sharp wit. Keeps me laughing, knows how to fix aircraft, and is a phenomenal plane spotter and photographer. He's studying in Germany, which is way too far for this mama bear. He is my entire heart, but he's rocking it. So can I get an OG fish sandwich? And the Dirty Germans talking about working on fuselages. Maybe Coach Ted giving him advice on entering his 20s. Mama loves you, kiddo. Many thanks, guys. That from Trista.
$2 I get a fish sandwich?
Yeah, since you're in Germany and you walk on these planes, maybe it's a good idea if you bring your skin plane and land on my landing strip.
Yeah, you know, you could use this plane like we used to have the ones when we were children, with your hand.
Yeah.
See those little wood ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, little wood.
All right, a lot of people turn to 20, need advice. You know what? Coach has real advice for you right now. It's your 20s. Have some fun. Hey, you should have a job. But, I don't know. You just turned 20, man. About 25. I mean, you can start saving money. Hopefully you got a good enough job. But other than that, just be careful. Don't get arrested. Coach got arrested in his early 20s. Don't do what Coach did.
Also, you're in Germany and you're 20. You can go to the bar. That's always a good thing. Get there a little bit.
That's a good point.
They say where in Germany?
No, Germany. I'm assuming like Ramstein or one of the bases, right? If you're working on airplanes.
Oh, yeah, that didn't even click. Right, he's obviously in the Army.
Mm-hmm. Guys, tomorrow...
Be careful at Oktoberfest.
Yes. Guys, today's my 30th birthday. So excited to spend the day, the Dirty 30 in Vegas with my sexy husband. And you guys give me a little kid face sandwich, a bong rip, and the captain with some tips on how to spend our time in Vegas. Thanks, guys. We listen to you every day and can't wait to come home to Live Day this year.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Obviously, if you're in Las Vegas, you can do pretty much anything you want to do, but take the captain's advice. They have the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's not true, because I carried gonorrhea with me all the way back to Taiwan. Crunch berries.
Guys, happy birthday to Eric. Can we get a Leroy Jenkins to celebrate and an inspirational quote from Miles to get him through this next year of his life? That from Katie and from Rex.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Okay. Happy birthday, Eric. I know this is a ways off, but think about this. What if, when we die, the light at the end of the tunnel we see is just us being pushed out of another vagina?
Wonder, Dad.
Just starts over, huh?
Yeah.
No break in between. It's like, oh, man, this
back
again.
Back to pooping myself.
It is weird to think that we could start back over, but have no knowledge of the first one.
Yeah, no, give me something. You know?
Yeah.
Guys, I want to wish my husband Alex a very happy 36th birthday. Listen to your show every day during the happy hour as well. Can you give him some green beans and fish sandwich along with some turtle sex? Love you guys. That from Leanne.
Green bean. What?
Can I get fish sandwich?
Bean.
Fish sandwich?
Green bean.
Can I buy you a fish sandwich?
Green.
Let's hope the day finds you gentlemen well. I've been listening to you guys for years. Always makes my night laughing at your hilarious escapades while I'm out doing the DoorDash thing. Today marks my 39th trip around the sun. So how about a Leroy Jenkins, followed by a big old bong rip and a reverse fart. Thanks, guys, and take care. That from Kevin in Lodi, California.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Lodi. So I call my old girlfriend.
That's a CCR song. Wrote that song about that entire city. All right, guys, here you go.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the Men's Room wants to know, who sucks last?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Thrill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It is up to us, though, to determine out of the 3 stories, which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And like you said, Miles, as always, we have 3 stories. Let us start Louisiana, where a man entered a funeral home after hours and then went to the embalming room where he filmed several autopsy corpses and then shared the images with an acquaintance via FaceTime. Now, according to the probable cause affidavit, Boris Richard, not a lot of Borises out there, 21 years old, late on Friday night, he made what they call an unauthorized entry to the Smith Funeral Home in Monroe. Richard made entry to the embalming room with several corpses present post-autopsy. He then videoed several of the corpses on his cell phone via FaceTime and was showing his friend the corpses while the business was closed to the public. Now, while Richard appears to have some connection to the business, he was not an official worker, and he'd been advised that he was not supposed to gain entry into the embalming room. Anyway, he was arrested on felony unauthorized entry charge. He declined to answer questions from police, but in spite of that, he was still released from jail after posting a $1,500 bond. All right, so snuck into the funeral home, went to the embalming room, and FaceTimed the...
Did he work there, or
No.
He just broke in?
So I'm guessing he knows someone that works there. They said he has a loose affiliation, but he's not an employee.
All right.
They didn't do nothing to him. He just filmed it.
He just filmed it. They weren't getting freaky with him, but he just went in and FaceTimed the autopsy corpses to his weird friend. Now we go to Arizona, where someone should have told this guy that getting baptized washes away your original sin, right? Because any sins after that, those are on you. So cops in Mesa, Arizona, they arrested a 20-year-old Jeremiah Sykes over the weekend after he walked into a church and got naked and then tried to baptize himself, then punched a cop. Now, someone at the church called the cops around 2:45 p.m. and said the naked guy had climbed into their baptism fountain and refused to leave. When police got there, he was wandering around outside, still naked, but with the blanket that he apparently took from the church. Cops say he admitted that he stripped down because he wanted to baptize himself. Well, they arrested him for trespassing and indecent exposure. Then once they got him to jail, he took off the sock and threw it at him. Then he punched the cop in the head. Then he hit another cop in the face when they tried to stop him from throwing socks and throwing punches. Well, they tacked on charges for resisting arrest and 2 counts of aggravated assault. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and stay in church, but this time we go to church in Ohio. Officials there arrested a 26-year-old woman who pooped on the church altar over the weekend. On Saturday, Laura Minyard of Loveland, she entered Good Samaritan Hospital Chapel in Cincinnati, pooped on the altar, then wiped her ass with a cloth runner. Now, according
cloth runner,
the cloth runner,
like one of the rugs that run down.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right.
So at least she's clean. According to her criminal complaint, she also spread poop on the altar table using a picture that she found in the chapel. Now, Hamilton County court records show that she faces a charge of desecration. She was booked into the Hamilton County Jail on Monday. Bond was set at $2,500. She's going to appear in court in about 2 weeks. They did not disclose a motive. I think the motive is that she's crazy. So again, you have the kid, he's 21 years old. The man in Louisiana entered a funeral home and videotaped, FaceTimed the autopsied, embalmed bodies inside of the funeral home. We have the guy that got...
Who was he FaceTiming with?
Just a friend of his.
All right.
Who obviously...
So this is obviously more for the friend than it is him. He can get in there. So the friend is curious enough to want to make this happen.
That's exactly my line of thinking. All right. Or it's a weird, pickup line. Then we have the Arizona woman who got naked, tried to baptize herself, but refused to leave the fountain. I'm sorry, the dude in Arizona got naked, climbed into the baptism fountain. He just wouldn't leave. When the cops arrested him, throwing socks at him, throwing punches at him. And finally, the lady in Ohio, who also went to a church, actually the chapel at the hospital, but either way, pooped on the altar, spread it around, wiped her ass on a cloth run.
I think as far as the guy in the funeral home, I think it would be weird. It's already weird to go to a funeral. You know the person. Right. They've obviously passed on. There's grief involved and everything else. But still to be around a corpse is very strange to me.
And keep in mind, an autopsy. This is not just a dead body. This is one where, the chest cavity is open.
Correct.
Cut apart.
And that would be even more traumatic, I believe. I don't think
agree.
that I would walk into that room voluntarily. If someone said, hey, I'll give you a tour and we'll show you how this is done. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that I would be up for that. As far as just being able to see those things, I'm not sure how I don't need to. I don't know how I would do. The fact, I really think this is more on the friend. The guy says, hey, man, I know I can show you some dead bodies, autopsies, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go in and FaceTime and prove I'm right. I think that's more on the other guy, but the guy still did that.
The other guy, see, I think it's the opposite. I think the other dude's in there and if somebody FaceTimes you and goes, you want to see a body that's being cut open? I'd probably be like, all right.
But I still can't put it on the other guy, because even if I said I really want to see an autopsy body, even if I can gain access, no.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? You still consciously have to make the decision. Right, you broke in.
He's the one doing this.
Right, you can say, hey, I want cocaine. Well, I'm not going to get it for you.
Yes. The guy in Arizona who snuck into the church and got naked and tried to baptize himself. First of all, you can't baptize yourself. We all know that, but I do know that those those units they have that sometimes are up on the behind the altar. You basically walk down a set of steps.
Yeah,
it's probably 8 feet long or so, and the priest or the minister is in there, and then they baptize you, and then you walk out the other side. So it's kind of like a giant hot tub without the jet.
Right.
I could see maybe wanting to take a dip in there if you're hot, but he's trying to baptize himself, and then as soon as he's outside, he punches a cop. So he's already taken himself to the next level.
Correct.
As far as his aggression. So I will say that's not the way to go about that. And then there's a woman who pooped all over the altar and cleaned herself with basically the rug.
Keep in mind, she smeared the poop, and she didn't just smear the poop. A picture she found at the chapel.
Right, so it's not like she had an accident. She went in there, right? She was like, I'm going to destroy this altar.
I'm going to poop. I'm going to poop on an altar. I mean, like, that was her. There's no motivation. Well, yeah, she's insane.
That's pretty bad. I think I'm going to have to go with the man in Louisiana who snuck into a funeral home and filmed the corpses as the person that sucks the least in this instance.
The issue is, though, I mean, nobody really got hurt.
Correct.
But I can only imagine if that was one of my loved ones, I'd be pissed.
Without a doubt.
And it's weird. It's almost like they're, I don't know. Like, he didn't do nothing to the corpses, but also it's like you're taking advantage, and that would just have me pissed.
It would have me pissed, but I have to agree with Miles. When I take any emotion out of it, assuming that it's not anyone I know, right?
Right.
Because he did not destroy anything. He didn't really tamper with them. It's one thing. They made it a point. He didn't put his hands on anything. He didn't tamper with any evidence. He faked that. Wait, I'm not saying any of this is okay, but just the dude who got naked in the altar, like, you know better. You're a goddamn adult, and this is self-serving, but then you punch the cop, so that's...
See, I'm taking him. I think he sucks the least.
For getting naked and climbing in the air.
He's legit crazy. He broke into a church, tried to baptize himself.
No, but he didn't poop all over the place.
Wait. To be fair, he didn't even break into the church. The church was open.
Right, so
they just didn't expect him to get naked and climb into their baptism.
I mean, most churches are open. I'm saying, this guy, he's certifiable. Like, poop lady, she's already at a hospital.
Wait, you think that he's... You think naked dude who punched a cop is more certifiable than poop lady at the church?
Correct. Because the guy in Louisiana is just kind of, I don't think, he's just kind of one of those weird, morbid freaks.
That's what he's into, right?
Right, and obviously, you know, he's like, hey, check this out. The woman in Ohio is pissed, and she put poop on an altar. But you ever try to clean poop out of something? You have. You have children. It's a pain in the butt.
Or animals.
So this guy's crazy. And frankly, I apologize to the police officer. That was unnecessary, but I'm taking him. He's lost his mind. He threw socks at cops and then said, you know what? I'm going to punch one of them.
I think naked dude, I don't think he's crazy. I think he's high on something. I think poop lady
is nuts.
I think he's crazy because, look, man, well, I was going to say, we've all been strung out on drugs. We haven't. But getting naked, sorry. I'm being presumptuous here. Being naked and doing something stupid usually seems to be associated with some substance, where pooping on the altar and then doing the extra time and trying to smear it, like, that strikes me as, that's nuts.
I see what Ted's saying, though. You know, the naked guy that went into the church, I mean, what as far as destruction of property or something like that, he didn't
destroy
trust him of anything. Yeah, it's kind of nasty that he was naked inside of the baptism deal there. But at the end of the day, like, he didn't break the trust of the people by filming corpses. He didn't mess up an altar by putting feces on it. Again, sorry to the cop for having to take a shot there, but.
Hey, I mean, the cop knows that's part of the job.
Part of the game.
Right. Sometimes with naked people. Yeah, take a sucker punch from a naked dude.
Do you think they drained the baptism thing after?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, they do. And they throw the rug away with the other lady.
Well, they definitely throw the rug away.
Well, you keep in mind, holy water just means the priest.
I know.
And that holy water's tainted.
Jim agrees with you guys. He says the Arizona guy who baptized himself on Twitter there, and Nick Knight says that Louisiana man sucks the least. Maybe he's an underground filmmaker. Debate continues if you follow KISW on Twitter on Who Sucks Last. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhale out.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up next, we'll drink and toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right. Google says it'll be deleting accounts that have gone unused for 2 years.
That'll be mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't even type my password to get in there, man.
Yeah. And I like that. At least it cleans up the clutter a little bit. You know, because somebody's probably going to want to use that username that you've created.
They should probably kick me out just based on the searches for this show.
No, this is your Google email.
I mean, Gmail, right?
Gmail.
Yeah, Gmail. Man.
Oh, Gmail, not Google. Oh, Google's kicking out Gmail customers. Gotcha.
Yeah, I had no idea. I could not tell you my name on Gmail. I do not know my password. I just never use it.
Right.
Like if it's that important, send it to my wife. And she knows this.
Does Google?
Yeah, whatever. Send it to her, man.
And the thing is that anymore email addresses have just kind of become catch-alls for signups.
Yeah, pretty
they
much.
have, but I don't know. For me, I couldn't live without an email address.
Sure.
I mean, more than half my bills come through my email.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know, and you're right. It's hard to sign up for anything.
But you're flying solo.
Yeah.
I got the wife who deals with everything. That's why I'm like, if it's important, like work crap, I'm like, send it to her. She will let me know.
And you know, the Yahoo account that I created, I tried to keep that one as clean as possible, but it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, even services that I like, they still send me a bunch of
Well, I've got one that I use that I sign up for things that are unnecessary.
Right.
And then I have some where if it's Alaska Air, you got my Gmail. Or if it's bills, you got my Gmail. Then I have a Hotmail account that I use for all the crap that they need an email for.
It's even started here at work. You know, I had to sign up for a couple things here at work just based on what we got going on around here, and now I'm getting spam emails in my work email.
Thanks, work.
Right. Doggone it.
It is. I will say that for whatever reason, I don't know. Like I had an AOL account. I might have had a Yahoo.
Yeah.
But Gmail was just like the first one that allowed you to have that much space and everything.
Sure.
So that's like the one that's like my private email.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when friends invite me to stuff, I have to be like, oh, hey, by the way, here's my actual email.
All right.
Apparently, napping can boost creativity, especially if you're thinking about something just before you fall asleep. If you have the ability to. I don't. I have to think about nothing. I have to basically trick my brain into falling asleep every night.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I have the TV on. A lot of people tell you not to do it, and I understand why, because you become dependent on it. However, it's the only thing that gets my brain to shut off.
I usually go to bed, and I'm visualizing what I have to do the next day. And that helps when I get up, I know the exact order that I want to do everything. And that way, because typically it's stuff you don't feel like doing.
Sure.
Right? So I'm just like, that is how I go to sleep each night. Get up, get it done, and the rest of the day.
I'm telling you, man, there's two things. Masturbation is one, but you can't do that beside your wife because the bed will vibrate.
Oh, sure I can.
Oh, yes, you can.
The second one is pick up a book. I'll get through about 3 pages and realize I need to reread that last page because I wasn't really retaining anything. I'll start doing that again. The next thing you know, the book's on my chest, and I'm just like, all right.
Yep.
Or set the sleep timer on your TV.
Which I do all the time.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Yep.
Plus, honestly, there's some shows I like, but they're kind of boring shows.
Right.
I like this, but it's not keeping my attention.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could turn away. Like, I don't have to look at it. Just got it on in the background. But, right. If it's something I want to watch.
History Channel shows like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in this, but it's just the way they speak, the way they do it, the way they deliver it. Like, I'm nodding off. My bad.
Right. If it's an actual show I'm watching, like, I'll sit out on the couch.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can watch this show in bed.
Yeah, I can't watch any informational shows in bed because then I'll start getting intrigued, or at least I am interested enough to where it's like I need to see where this is going, what's going on. But for me, it's the Fox animation shows. I love them all. I can also afford to not see what happens in the episode. Sure. I'm okay not knowing what happens to Peter Griffin at the end of this episode. It will all be okay. 32% of Americans consider themselves foodies.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure
What's
they
the
do.
qualification for
I was going to say, just going to new restaurants and trying different things when things open up first. Does that just
and
mean
that's the thing, right? Are you exploratory foodie where you've been to all the new places? Are you a foodie who has cooked and know what you're talking about? Are you a foodie because that is your job? Mm-hmm. It's hard to know. You know what I mean? Are you a foodie because you have expensive taste? You know,
right? I am down to try new foods, therefore I'm a foodie.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what qualifies as a foodie.
Right, I got the palate of a boring ass white dude. Right. I'm not a foodie.
You need to go to Soul Restaurant. Oh, we gonna hook you with this one for free.
I love grits. Grits and shrimp.
Grits and shrimp. AI used social media data to determine what the perfect human body looks like.
Isn't that relative?
Yes.
There's a look.
But AI can't feel that because they don't feel anything.
AI, I'm gonna give you a hot tip. Visit a porn site, see the thumbnails. There's a reason they're all there. Different people have different ideas.
That's correct.
So back to the menu.
Right. That's all. It's like saying the perfect food. Well, what do you like? Because that's what you're going to order.
You're getting the pork chop, I'm getting the chicken.
Safe to say that that's a nasty surprise that AI would wake up to one day. A lot of people have that. Well, just, not realizing that what they think is the perfect body is not exactly the perfect body. In fact, that happens to a lot of people all the time, especially when they move in with somebody and a roommate. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you start finding living habits about different people. Which, you know what, now that we're on the subject.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 nasty surprises women get when they move in with a man. If you're a woman living with a man and you open up your deodorant and find an armpit hair that clearly is not yours, do not freak out. Do not get upset. This is a compliment. He cares about you so much. He wants to smell you on him all day.
Oh, that's a good line.
I think he just ran out of deodorant.
No, he's right. Baby, I just want to smell you.
That's not it at all.
Trust me. Look at your razor in the shower. Oh, my God. That's not mine.
She's done that to me, man. I need to use need to use your razor. Use your own.
I like the flying pink lady.
Yeah.
No, I'm just...
They're terrible. Women's razors are terrible. They're curved too much.
Horrible.
Yes. They're terrible.
They have that weird curve to them. And I guess we're thinking ladies are shaving their legs, right?
So got too much lotion and gunk on them, man.
But, if I'm in a pinch, man, I'm trying to shave my head, and I realize if I snag one of my wife's razors, I rip my head apart. Right? I'm like, I need my razor.
Right. 10 nasty surprises women got when they moved in with a man. And number 10, it's not out of the question that couples would want to cuddle at some point. Ladies might be a little bit more prone to that than men, but it says cuddles in context. It says while most men enjoy cuddling, they may not want to when it's too hot or they're too tired after a long day. Sometimes they need to relax and cool down before getting close.
Is there a cuddle limit too? I like cuddling, but then after half an hour, it's like, all right, I want to go to sleep.
Sure.
You never just fell asleep cuddling?
No.
Then I have, but then you fall hot. I'm just saying, I'm always, I'm a cuddler. So I'm in for cuddling. But at a certain point, it's like, let's go butt to butt.
Sometimes, man, when people go to sleep, they turn up to 105. It's almost like they're almost like fever level. Like, how are you so hot? But everything is normal.
That's why I'm strictly on the couch.
If you were this hot, you would not go to work during the day because you have a fever.
Right.
But some reason when you sleep, you turn into an easy bake oven. How is that possible that you shoot up 6 degrees?
Right. That's why I'm strictly on the couch. If we were in the bed together, we might do a horizontal A-frame where our heads are close together so we can look up the same phone.
The bodies stay away.
We do not touch each other, man. Number 9, the seat and lid debate. Says living with a man can also reveal unexpected differences in habits and preferences, as one user found when she discovered that some men prefer having a toilet seat and lid down. You know what? I took a page out of my brother-in-law's book when I first met him. The debate of always, do you put the seat down? Do you leave the seat up? Well, it takes 0.x seconds. Well, it can also take that time for you. Blah, blah, blah. It says the debate goes out of the window if you just put both of them down. Just shut the lid.
Yeah, I do. Because when I flush the toilet, I like the lid down. Saw a video of all the stuff that comes out when you flush.
Oh, yeah.
And it just bugged me. And I'm like, I'm going to just put the lid down.
Right. I'm with you. I am absolutely with you.
Just put that lid down.
Close the thing, and you know what? Sometimes I leave evidence behind, and I don't need the public seeing that.
That is always kind of a surprise when you pull up the lid. You're like, God damn, man.
Good morning.
Cleaning the kids' bathroom on the weekend. I lift the seat up, and I'd ask them, do you guys turn the seat upside down and poop directly on it? How could there possibly be this much splashback? Jesus.
There's a bar a mile neighborhood, and I used to have this argument with the bartender. Now, granted, I knew the bartender.
Yeah.
But it was always put the seat down. I said, you got a lot of guys coming in here. Mm-hmm. I think it should stay up. Because it's
the men's bathroom?
Because some dudes are too lazy. Right? They're just too unisex bathrooms.
Okay, all right.
Some dudes are too lazy to lift the toilet seat up. Then you're going to pee on the seat.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of, I know a lot of people are going to balk with this, but everybody can sit.
Yes, they can.
There's times where
I could tuck my guy in there, or it's too loud.
There was a study that went around to different countries and determined how the most men that sit when they're using the bathroom. Number 1, Germany. 40% of Germans in some restaurants require that everyone sits when they use the bathroom.
Right, so you don't get spray all over the place.
Right.
I've done
Denmark was 2, a bunch of European countries.
I was about to say, much like what you saw with the stuff that comes out of the toilet when you flush, I saw another deal that showed what happens when you fire a hose into the toilet. There's a lot of splash everywhere, and it grossed me out.
Do you know where most of that comes from? When you flush.
Oh, yeah.
That spreads the most bacteria.
You bet.
So if you could
but what
close
he's
the
saying
lid,
is,
if there was a lid on.
but he's saying when you
but
pee.
Mike's
right.
saying he saw something too that showed when you're peeing.
Oh, yeah.
How much it gets out of there.
Right.
Plus, my toilet's too low now, man.
Do you have a lower toilet?
It is.
God, that sucks.
Doesn't that put you in a better position to Duke?
No, poop
Pooping's
maybe.
fine, but when I'm peeing, I feel it just
There's
sounds
more splash.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm Quasimodo ringing bells. It's loud in there.
What am I doing this from the second story?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm just going to sit down.
This one says arachnophobia unites us all. It says living with a man has taught this girl that the fear of spiders isn't just limited to women. I don't like having to deal with them, but I understand my role. I had to kill one this morning.
My wife has no fear of spiders, or I do not like them. And I tell her it's because she does not recognize that they are monsters. But
Right.
was it 2 mornings ago? I woke up to her going, God damn it. And then I turned. So I get out of bed. I'm like, what's up? She's like, and she said it was huge. She goes, it was a huge, huge, huge spider. It was on the wall. And she said, I knew if you saw it, it's going to be my problem anyway. So I was like, thank you.
10 nasty surprises women got when they moved in with a man, says the burping roommate. It says when living with a male roommate, one woman discovered that some guys like to make a big deal out of their bodily functions. Her roommate had a habit of loudly burping and announcing it with words like burp, belch, or even Ralph.
I burp a lot.
I do. I burp a lot. I fart a lot. As a dude, you don't think about it. If your body's going to do something, you let it do it.
I spit a lot.
I've been complained at.
Yeah.
You know what the difference
I
is?
try to be more conscious of it, like, especially if I'm with a girl. But also, like, if you're sitting, like, if we've been dating and it's Sunday afternoon, we're watching football, like, sorry. All bets are off.
But the other thing, too, is I'm like, man, we've been together for 19 years. I mean, like,
you know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
Right. You know I do this.
Just because I don't hear your farts does not mean I don't know that you farted. I'm sitting on the sofa like, well, I didn't fart. I know it's not the dog's fart. And I just look at it, she's like, sorry. I mean, you don't have to apologize, man. Just announce. There's a reason why you announce it so you can prepare for it. There's a reason people ring your doorbell. They don't just kick open your front door. That's all.
The shedding struggle. Says living with a man can reveal some unexpected truths, as one user discovered when she realized the extent of body hair shedding. She's aware that women always have a shedding problem with their hair, but she just couldn't fathom how much men lose from their legs, chest, and other body parts.
I think it depends where the hair is, right? In the shower, I expect it. On the rim of the toilet, I'm like, it skeeves me.
Look, you can have hair in the bathtub. That wad that's stuck up on the tile,
wall.
That's the thing that you maybe should have taken out.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
I am very guilty of that as a hairy dude.
But you're a hairy dude.
Those hairs end up everywhere.
They do, man.
Yeah.
Just little curly cues everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
We mentioned it, the beauty supply borrowers. Says one user discovered that she caught her male partner using her beauty products. At first, she was taken aback, but soon she found it endearing and even enjoyed sharing her self-care routine with him.
I just use my wife's shampoo and conditioner because I got the beard. Otherwise, all of her, like, when you walk into the bathroom...
They have like 4 different facial scrubs.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't even ask about it. I don't know what they do. I don't care. But how they spread. Like, the area that I have on the vanity is where my toothbrush is. And it ends there. Everything else is a something.
I have a question about female facial scrubs.
Yeah.
You have all these different smells and shampoos and fragrances and all these different things. And, like you can pick a coconut shampoo, you can pick all different kinds. Tea tree, they all smell different. It seems with a facial scrub, it's apricot or bust. That's it. There's no strawberry facial scrub.
Well, it's the citrus in the apricot, Miles.
Well, they can put a lemon in it, or they can put an orange in it, or they can put a, like they can put a grapefruit.
Nothing beats the apricot ass.
What I'm saying is, it's just apricot dominates the facial scrub.
You're right. It's always the apricot facial scrub.
Nothing else. Just the facial scrub.
Yep.
I think more apricots go to facial scrubs than actual food products. When's the last time you ate an apricot? I smell an apricot every day.
Yeah.
Right. In the
and maybe
bathroom.
that's what it is. It's a good enough smell that's not offensive.
Again, Pine Sol has more lemons in it than lemon.
That's a fact. That's a fact. 10 nasty surprises women got when they moved in with a man. One woman found out that her boyfriend used blankets as curtains.
Well, yeah. That's typically a financial thing.
Correct.
It's also an age thing.
Yeah, I'm saying I had sheets for curtains as well. When I was like 22, I'm like, I can't believe more people don't do this.
Posters for art.
Genius.
Yeah, you have posters for art. Of course.
Right. Number 3, to make or not to make the bed. It says one woman learned that she moved in with her husband who only saw the point of making the bed if it was visibly dirty.
If it's dirty, I'd rather wash the sheets.
I've had the reverse of that. Like, I was more disciplined about it than anybody I've ever been with.
Yeah, I was never very disciplined about it. I need to get better, but...
Yeah, me neither. But I know... Yeah, I've dated a couple women. That was a massive deal. Like, okay.
Sorry. Then make the bed. Jesus Christ, if you want the bed, better make the bed.
Right.
Man,
I'm not telling you not to. I just did not do it.
Number 2. One woman discovered that shaving is a sacred ritual for men. Said her husband takes great care and pride in perfecting his shaving routine, and the results are flawless. She was fascinated to learn about men's unique methods for achieving the perfect shave.
Look, everybody's got different things in the bathroom. That is a fact. I mean, there's little idiosyncrasies. Living with a woman, I have never been able to go into the bathroom and shave. And the reason is because the shower is 180 degrees.
Yes, it is.
And there's an entire layer of fog on the mirror. I can't even see my face to shave.
Nope.
I don't get it hot enough. You could be in there, put on your makeup. You have a full mirror. I get in there when you're in the shower, I can't see and I can't breathe. I feel like I'm in a sauna.
Well, so I think the thing with shaving, most guys are shaving their face. So this is the appearance you put out every day. Yeah. And that's the appearance you determine you're comfortable with. Most women I know will shave their legs because it's summertime, right?
Sure.
So you're just in a quick hurt, or depending on the length of the quote-unquote skirt, shaving up to here because the skirt comes down to here. Like, we're doing our face because this is what you know us to look like.
It's also just kind of part of, like, the morning routine.
It is.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. When I'm in the shower, it's just kind of my time. Like, if I'm shaved, like, I usually, like, and I don't have to shave a ton. Like, I should shave right now. Like, underneath my beard. But, like, generally, like, I'm still naked. I'm shaving. Yeah. Then I'm going to brush my teeth. Then I'm going to put on some deodorant. Then I'll put on some drawers.
Yeah. Exactly. But then the number one the number one nasty surprise women got when they moved in with a man, and I'm guilty of this one, the shirt rewear rule. Her partner only considered clothes dirty if they smelled bad, had fresh stains, or were wet. If I don't wear a shirt for very long, I will hang it in a random location.
Jeans.
To be able to wear it later. Yeah, jeans, shorts.
Jeans. Right.
Pants,
I'm not washing.
Rewear. Shirts, no.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Socks, underwear, and shirts.
Right, shirts almost always get washed. But, Mike, you're not wrong. If I put on, like, a shirt I like, and it's, like, Saturday and I wear it for, like, 2 hours.
Right.
So that guy might get worn again.
Right. I got to get up and we're going to go grocery shopping early. It's been, like, 2 hours. I haven't even worn into the thing, and I'm now home and I want to get in my comfy clothes again.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to set this shirt aside. Now, whether or not I may put that thing back on is suspect, so that's why I
start every morning in yesterday's clothes, but I'm always in the shower by 9.
Yeah.
And then switch up. But like when I get up tomorrow, whatever I'm wearing right now is exactly what I'll be wearing tomorrow morning.
There's a Publix bakery that takes directions literally, Miles, and I'll give you the entire story at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Hey there, it's your friend Stormy Warren here, and I want to invite you to my new home, the Big 615, exclusively on TuneIn. So what is the Big 615? Well, simply put, it's the official home of country music broadcasting live from Nashville to the world. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Get the latest on country music from your favorite artists to the hottest songs climbing up the charts. Oh, and it's commercial free. That means a whole lot more music and a whole lot more country. Hear it all on the Stormy Warren Show, weekdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. And I look forward to having you join me on the Big 615.
This is your country station. The Big 615.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Part of a minute to drink it time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed, and today we toast an unnamed Peeping Tom from Chatham County, New Jersey. Now, for weeks, the local police have been getting calls from residents reporting a Peeping Tom staring through the windows, which is exactly what a Peeping Tom does. Now, some people were just watching TV, others were naked, others were in compromising positions. But by the time police could respond to any of the calls, the suspect had already fled. Then earlier this week, a construction crew spotted a suspect that fit the description, and they decided, we're going to detain this son of a bitch. So they detained the Peeping Tom, called the police. Police arrived on the scene and successfully apprehended the suspect. The suspect was a goat. So
the Peeping Tom was a goat?
For 3 weeks. So it escaped from the local slaughterhouse. And I guess for the last 3 weeks, people are watching TV, whatever, or naked as it was. They would look out the window, and this goat is staring into the window. And it just freaked people out because no one knew the goat had escaped from the slaughterhouse. They would call the cops because no one wants to deal with the animal. Cops would get there. It wasn't there. But a construction crew heard about it on the news, saw the goat, and said, like, that has to be the goat, right? Because there's not a lot of goats wandering free in New Jersey.
Could you kill him?
I mean, you could.
He was at a slaughterhouse.
You know, that's a good point. He escaped from the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Just to catch one more sneak peek.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man.
Classic Bill.
Look at that bad ass. You turn me on. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy. I want to see your YouTube.
Come on. Goat jokes are not the goat.
So for the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hole of it.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game. We share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth.
I know what your husband drives. You want to ride a real Ram?
And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello, men.
Hola. All right, Brian, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 4 categories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Let's go with bite me.
Just eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it.
All right, here is your story. I cannot pronounce this person's last name, but a man by the name of Ken says he usually loves a slice of leftover pizza from the refrigerator. But when he bit into this particular piece of cold Pizza Hut pizza, he recoiled when his teeth encountered something unexpected. The object was baked into the bottom of the crust, they say with a slight indentation. The find came the day after he purchased a large supreme pizza with pepperoni, ham, green peppers, and other toppings as takeout. Since then, the object and half-eaten slice have been sealed in a plastic Ziploc bag and stored in his freezer as evidence while he's engaged in a bunch of rising conversations with Pizza Hut officials. He said that he and his wife, Donna, they tried to resolve the matter privately for several weeks, but numerous emails and phone messages went unanswered. He eventually spoke with Pizza Hut officials, but they've since stopped returning his calls, and they have not offered to pay for any medical workup. He says, quote, "They forced my hand, and I went to the media." Now, the question is, what did he bite into in his Pizza Hut Supreme Pizza slice? Was it a roach? Was it a fingernail? Was it part of a mouse? Or was it a Band-Aid? So roach, fingernail, mouse, or Band-Aid?
Well, I'm kind of leaning towards roach. What are you thinking, Ted?
You said part of a mouse.
Part of a mouse, yes.
That's tough, man. That Supreme Pizza has so many colors on it with the different toppings.
And this was baked on the bottom.
Oh, that's right. You said it was,
baked on the bottom. Right, so he went through it, felt this thing, and said, this ain't right.
You know what, man? I'm with you. I think it's crunchy. Well, number 1, because it was cooked in an oven. Number 2, because it was a roach.
You're going to go roach, then?
Roach.
A crunchy roach.
Okay, Brian, what are you thinking?
I'm going with roach.
I followed him. Credit to Brian.
A lot of people smoking mentions. That makes sense.
Credit to Brian.
I'm all over this Band-Aid from a Steve story many years ago.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, we're going to find out what was in this guy's crust. Was it a roach, a fingernail, part of a mouse, or a Band-Aid next?
That was a tease. Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior 1 in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhale out.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories: Buy Me and Profile This. Man ate a cold piece of pizza the next morning, and when he bit into it, he found that something had been baked into the bottom of the crust that he bit into. And he actually saved it and froze it and everything else and tried to get a hold of the company to see what they can do. So far, no word back. So the question is, did he bite into a roach, a fingernail, a part of a mouse, or a Band-Aid?
Brian, that is the very question that we posed to you. Now, Ted Smith, you followed in Brian's footsteps.
Correct.
You wanted to give Brian full credit.
Full credit for the roach. Screwed me, Brian.
Brian, you screwed him. You screwed
0 for 3.
0 for 3. That's all right, man. You keep swinging. You keep swinging. Sooner or later, you hit that ball. That's what we tell all the people that are terrible at things. Miles, you went with the Band-Aid based on a true story I told you from a time when I was making pizza.
Makes sense.
And found a Band-Aid.
You got to work with the dough if you got a Band-Aid on your hand.
Right, so it can slip off, and, you are correct.
That would be assertive.
And at least I caught it before it made it to a table.
And there's no question about what it is.
I was trying to smack an air bubble out. Typical thing. You get the dough's in a ball, you flatten it out, you just kind of take your fist, knock it down to a disc, you can start stretching it. Typically, there'll be air bubbles. You want to break those out so you don't blow up in the oven. I could not get this air bubble out. And keep in mind, this is an open kitchen, so people, and it's a wood-burning stove, so people really enjoy watching you do this thing. The counter's just low enough so they can't see the dough itself. Trying to get this air bubble out, and finally open it up, and there's a Band-Aid with a blood dot on it, just like,
ball it up, throw it away.
Yeah, and then I had to go to the kitchen and say, hey, man, let the baker know.
Now for all TV news all the time, and it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Where recently in the United States has had an outbreak of high STDs?
The Villages in Florida. That seems to be the one that always pops up.
Who stays in the Villages in Florida?
That is a retirement community, Ted.
55 and over, I believe.
Oh, all right. ABC's coming out with a new dating series this fall called The Golden Bachelor.
Oh, boy.
Isn't it the Villages?
It's not at the Villages.
As it should be.
It's like The Bachelor, but with senior citizens.
Oh.
Quote, one hopeless romantic is given a second chance at love and a search for a partner with whom to share the sunset of their years. The women arriving at the mansion will have a lifetime experience, because they're old, living through... Wow! I mean, I'm dead serious. You say that about people when they're not older. It's like, this guy's already got a lifetime experience at 21. It's like, no, they do, because they've lived most of it.
Yes.
Living through love, loss, laughter, hoping for a spark that ignites the future full of endless possibilities.
By catching an STD. I want to say seniors, might be the group where STDs are spreading the fastest.
Right, because, I mean,
they don't care.
They don't care, and like...
Well, they're not going to get pregnant.
Right, I was going to say...
That's the first thing
people
that
have gone,
using anything.
Right, people have gone through menopause, so it's like... I don't know, slap that stuff everywhere. Right, like, they just don't care. Now, with that said... I would caution them that STDs are still terrible.
Yeah, they're still dangerous for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just, look, for a lot of people, you don't want to get an STD when you're 25 years old because you got your life, quote unquote, ahead of you. And you realize, like, oh man, it could affect my dating life, getting pregnant, meeting the right person. You're 70 years old. You're like, yeah, I got herpes. So what?
Well, I think it'll be interesting on this one because I think we have a stereotype of someone who's going to be on reality television. As far as, yes, they maybe want to get married, but what is their ultimate goal? Their ultimate goal is definitely to be a part of the show, whatever one they pick. It's not always that way, depending on the subject.
Is that what they say, Miles?
What do they say?
They're just there looking for love.
Oh, they are there.
They're looking for love, man.
But I'll be curious for an older demographic. I would think that dynamic would change a little bit from like, I want everyone to know me because I'm on television too. Maybe some of these people just really do want to settle down with someone because they're getting older. So maybe it's a little bit less drama. I don't know.
No, it'll be the same thing. It'll just be older people.
If there's going to be less drama, they would not put it on TV.
All right, you're right.
Like, I dated a girl that had a grandmother. That was a pain, right? She would always go to visit her, and she'd come back, and she'd tell me some of the things. And finally, I said, look, I know she's older. I know she's your grandmother. But you don't have, like, she's also just sucks. And she's mean. Like, she's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, look, I'm not proud, certainly not proud of this. I don't like talking about it, but my grandfather was a racist. Right? He would say racist things when we'd leave the house. My mom would look at me and say, we do not say those things, like, You know what I mean? Like that, just it's granddad. Like, you know what I mean? So like, right, like
You're not alone in that.
Yeah, but just because they're older, like I think these are still the same people that want fame or whatever. They just never found it. Because let's be honest, now in this day and age with dating apps and everything else, especially for that,
you don't need to go on TV.
Right? If you actively want to put in a little bit of effort and find somebody, you can.
And like you said, a little bit of effort. Put a profile up and wait.
Yeah,
I mean that's it. You cannot be that ugly.
Right. And if not, there's somebody else that's just as ugly that wants to bump them.
I'm ugly too, man.
Mike, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
The high of the beholder?
Eye?
Well, it depends on how high you go. Sometimes that helps too.
Well, she was high.
I got you.
And Mike, I say that dead honestly, because trust me, if you look at my dating, I mean, I'm one of those people all the time. People are like, oh, you got lucky with that one. Like, all right, I get it.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Man, she got lucky with you.
I still get that to this day. People see my wife for the first time with me, they're like, oh, the hell? Hey, easy.
I can punt real far.
Well, right. And what's that? I mean, what's the thing? Like, that's just a nice way of saying I want to have sex with your wife.
Yes. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm okay when people are like, cool. I did.
Maybe
too.
she's walking up and go, man, I want to have sex with your wife.
She's hot enough to smash.
Would that be better?
No. It's just, there are certain things you just say that it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's phrasing. Instead of,
Yeah.
I'd like to smash body parts at your wife. Like, you have a very attractive wife. I'm telling you this out loud because for some reason I want you to know. You could just find someone to try, and you don't have to break it up.
Or break up or get a divorce and find out all the friends and ask your ex out.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, look, we do this in a lot of stuff, too. It's not so sad. It's like, really? Your boy made varsity?
I'll be damned.
Man.
Hold on, I can make a phone call. Yo, Fred, you owe me $20.
Right. Well, team needed some guys. Let's see. Peyton Manning and Luke Bryan. They co-hosted the CMA Awards last year.
That's right.
They're going to do it again this year.
All right.
Peyton does a good job with stuff like that, though. I mean, he's very good.
He's very good. And excuse me. I have brought this up before. Like, I respect that Peyton Manning has been like, yeah, me and my brother will do that thing with Omaha Productions on Monday Night Football.
Sure.
But, like, I don't want to be in the booth every week.
Yeah, I like that. He's avoided that.
Right, and he's got other stuff going on. Like, he's obviously around sports all the time, but I think it's super cool when you see Peyton, like, with his kids at a playoff game or whatever. He's like, yeah, I kind of still want to do that. And I'm not knocking any ex-player that becomes a color commentator. It's a great gig. But I respect Peyton Manning is outgoing enough and, like, popular enough that he can, like, call these shots and do it.
I think that's the difference is that you can't just say skill set. I don't know what it is. He's almost like Woody Harrelson to me, where he's just this very individual person, but, like, he'll host SNL. Not for anything he's done or will do. It's just because he's Peyton Manning.
Also, you find out Eli, since retirement, really funny guy. Like, he's kind of come in.
No idea before that.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, when he does the impersonating, like, a quarterback trying out or whatever he's doing, he ends up doing some good stuff as well.
He also looks odd sometimes on that. I like the Manning cast. Some of the games are boring.
Yeah.
Peyton is just quicker and funnier.
Always.
You know what I mean? And like after a while, it's like, all right, Eli, you gonna make fun of his forehead. Also, though, like Peyton Manning, like, you know what I mean? Like, that family grew up in Louisiana.
Yep.
It's historic, I guess historic. Like, if you like sports, it's a very famous family, this and that. He plays football with Tennessee. Like if there's an athlete to host the Country Music Awards, like,
he's the guy.
Peyton Manning's probably the guy. And then Luke Bryan, I mean, hell, I like Luke Bryan. He just wants to see girls shaking their butts and watching sports. Can't go wrong with that. They should have an award for that at that thing.
What, butt shaking?
Yeah.
What's the name of the country artist with the big ass that everyone likes?
Lady Wilson. Going to see her next week.
Are you really? Up close and personal?
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be behind the stage.
Damn right.
I saw something with her. So she was on
so bad.
She was on Yellowstone in the last season as well.
All right.
So it's kind of funny, like, as she was getting famous, because I remember seeing her on Yellowstone, I was like, man, who is this? Like, she could actually sing, but you're just, look, it's like Shakira, her hips don't lie. And then that picture came out of the security guard, like, not trying to look at her butt, and she wears those, like, hip-hugging bell bottoms.
Right.
But I saw an interview with her today, and she was like, yeah, at first it was kind of odd that overnight I became, like, this internet sensation. She goes, then I just thought what Dolly Parton would do. Like, yep, if that's,
throw it out there, girl.
And to her credit, I knew that was the same person, I almost said but,
that's what you're going to say.
From Yellowstone. But until I saw that picture, I never actually I never really listened to her music. And she's right. It got me to listen to her music.
Well, and it wasn't until, I don't know if it was the CMAs or the VMAs, Luke Combs was performing at one of them, so I watched it. And then she came out there with Hardy to sing their song Wait in the Truck, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
Wait in the Truck.
Wait in the Truck, yeah.
I wonder what that's about.
It's a very romantic song. But no, the camera panned around all over the place.
I'm going to get robbed by AM/PM. You wait in the truck.
No, he's going to go kick her abusive boyfriend's ass. So anyway,
yeah.
So then the camera pans around, and that was a very noticeable feature. It was like, am I seeing this? And then my wife says, no, she's got a dump truck on her.
Yeah. It's also funny hearing somebody who obviously doesn't know all those terms. She was like, yeah, like people kept saying I had dumps like a truck. I'm like, oh, man. That is one weird thing about the internet. Some of the language has really crossed over.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when you see some social media stuff. Like, when I see that, it was like some giant company. It's like, come through. Like, shut up.
Don't ruin it for the cool people.
Right. As soon as a big-time company says it, it's officially done. It's done. It's burned.
It's like when you're at work and you hear people talk about FOMO. And it's like, that started at Burning Man. The complete opposite of this environment. The writer's strike is still going on. So Jimmy Fallon, as this has gone on, has kind of gotten good press and bad press.
All right.
It started bad because it was all the other late night shows were still paying their writers. And it was like Jimmy hasn't said if he's going to pay his writers. And then the next day it was like, oh, I'm going to pay him. So it was like good. So it went bad, then good.
Sure.
Then it came back that like the other show hosts have been like hanging out with their staff and stuff. Jimmy Fallon hasn't been anywhere to be seen. So now here comes some bad stuff for Jimmy Fallon. The word is, let me get through it. The word is non-writing staff of the Tonight Show has been placed on unpaid leave of absence beginning next week. Now, here's the issue, is that employees from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and Late Night with Seth Meyers will continue to be paid. And you got to remember, Late Night's on NBC.
Correct.
So it's like...
Jimmy's got a bigger deal than Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's kind of, we're not sure, like, is Seth paying out of pocket? And Jimmy's just saying no. It seems odd that NBC would be like, yeah, we'll pay Danny from the morning show while the strike's on, but not Mike.
Yeah, I don't think it's NBC. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if it is. It might just be Seth Meyers, because nobody's sure, but it seems odd that they're on the same network, and Seth Meyers guys are still getting paid and Jimmy's aren't.
Right.
And you're right. Jimmy Fallon has to have a bigger.
And maybe the writers get paid less if you're on late night compared to, Jimmy. I don't know, but either way.
Well, these are the non-writers, right? Because that's the thing about this.
Does that include, like, the band?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think the Roots are sweating it because they're the Roots.
The Roots. Mm-hmm.
They still play shows all the time. But, like, this is more of, like, your cameraman, your grips.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like, those. Because there's.
Gotcha.
Hell, we don't even know. But, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into those shows. So that's what this is about. It's the non-writers. Because now this strike is affecting all those people.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like years ago, like when baseball goes on strike, right? Like, that's not just, it's not, nobody really cares if baseball players aren't going to make $100,000 that year.
The vendors.
Right. Vendors care. Or, like, you remember when the pandemics struck everything down at the stadium? It's like, well, Lumen Field's Lumen Field. They'll be okay. But, like, the hot dog guys out front,
right?
Like, they needed help. You got to. So this
guys
is not
get parking money,
right? So the writer's strike, which I still agree with them. And again, the word on the street is only asking 3%, which is not a ton.
It's been 3% from the jump,
right? But that affects a lot of people. Yeah, I saw somebody from some movie house or TV company was like, I think they're going to want to work again, so they'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah, like just have a little bit of couth, right? Like there's sometimes I have thoughts on stuff, but like for instance, if I'm at Miles's house and this could sound terrible, and his dog has just died, like I'm not going to be like, well, it's a dog, Miles, just get over it.
Normally that happens with cats.
Yeah, get another one.
Seriously, if your cat dies, people say, don't worry, it's just a cat. Get another.
But I'm just saying, there's time and place, and it's like that guy going on TV and being like, I think they'll just want to work again.
I think he's trying to quote unquote sway public perception. Yeah. That's my guess. Or they hired an idiot.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of both, but a lot of times people will drop certain comments because you're trying to get public sentiment to be in your favor.
And I don't think
if it's really important to them, they'd come back to work.
I don't think CEOs are the greatest speakers.
No.
You know what I mean?
They're good delegators.
Right. That's why I'm just like, why the guy's on TV during a strike? Like, either say nothing or just, it's simple. Well, Both sides are negotiating in good faith, and we hope it gets solved. No, I know that's a lie. I know they're not. But
they're working against some headwinds.
Right, but don't be like, I just assumed they'll want to work again. That's bad, man. What do you got on tonight? I think you got Celtics Heat. You're into a little basketball.
That sounds like a porn I'd watch. Celtic Heat.
Oh, bunch of Irish guys and Irish lads.
Pale red-headed women.
I'm picturing more of the women, but sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, everybody's, river dancing.
A lot of redhead ladies ready to go.
Little Celtic somewhere underneath fire.
Celtic
I had to scream it like a banshee.
Celtic Heat coming this fall on HBO.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Mexico City subway system comes to a screeching halt because of a chicken on the tracks. Meanwhile, while drunk driving with only 3 tires, you're in for a DUI. Those are the facts. Maryland town now using drones to keep dirt bike riders off the streets. Man breaks into Goodwill for used towels and a set of sheets. And a turtle on the road to Florida causes a huge crash. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my call.
All right, our top story. We go to the lovely world of the internet where the folks at Publix do as directed. A woman took to TikTok where she told the story of her mother's receptionist ordering a cake via WhatsApp. Everything went as per usual, but when the receptionist asked what she wanted the cake to say, she responded with, quote, "Just happy birthday is perfect, thank you." Most people would understand what she meant, but the Publix market took it literally, writing out, quote, "Just happy birthday is perfect, thank you." This was met with several comments on the video, and the market has yet to comment on the matter. My guess is that if they were going to respond to it, they'd say, "This is not our business practices. We, of course, would try to look through that," and,
I think they're still doing the facepalm.
Right. You did what?
Assuming that the person that took the order is different than the person that actually frosted the cake, you would at least think the person frosting the cake would say, "Are you sure that's what they meant?"
And you also never know when somebody's just going for that funny.
Sure.
Because that's something that I would do. I think that would be funny for me to intentionally say, literally write, "Just happy birthday's okay, thank you."
But in the end, you would just get happy birthday. Because,
yes, I would.
99% of the time, they'd be like, "Okay, happy birthday it is."
Right, this is a trap. This is a trap. No way. Damn it. In other news, to Mexico City, where an age-old question has surfaced yet again. Why did the chicken cross the railroad tracks? Little altered there. The subway system in the city was stalled for a bit as a chicken was found to be running about the tracks. Crews made fools of themselves for some time as they attempted to catch the bird with brooms and trash bags, but it finally came to a close when one of the crew members tossed his coat over the chicken, giving them the ability to apprehend the animal. Regularly scheduled trains resumed shortly afterward.
Look, I'm not a heartless dude, but I'm...
Hit the chicken.
Look, the chicken's going to make a decision, right?
Bro, I'm late. Get this thing going.
It's rush hour. Like, sorry, man. Right. You know what I mean? If it's a dog, I go, okay, this is somebody's pet. Like, did you say a chicken? Like, brother.
This thing's got a 30% chance of third rail in this bad boy as we're trying to catch it.
There'd be a lot of feathers, a lot of blood in front of the train. Like, sorry.
Dumbass chicken on the doggone subway.
The chicken was playing chicken, and the chicken won.
Right. Yeah, you know what? That's an absolute doggone fact. Hit me. Bagok.
Dare you.
Was it a rooster?
Might have been. I don't know, Ted.
Those guys are a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah. Brazen little sons of guns.
See, a rooster makes you want to hit it with the train.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, chicken, maybe you go, oh, man, I feel bad for that. Rooster, you're like, man.
Rooster would see a stop subway, then he'd come over and do that little, foot hit thing.
Right.
Screw you, subway.
Pecking at your calves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've dealt with roosters.
You met one or two?
I have. That's always the same thing.
They're mean, man. I mean, like,
they're mean
suck.
and aggressive, and it's like, dude, I'm a human.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, what are you going to do? Wow. That's the problem. Like, I know you are, bitch.
Right. Just one of those
Not interested in hooking up with your chicken wife.
Oh, Jesus.
Your chicken wife.
Seriously.
Go get you some cloaca.
Oh, damn it. It's one of those situations where, yeah, you want to hit the chicken, but you have no win scenario in here. You either lose to a chicken or you're hitting a chicken.
Right. Exactly. You hit the chicken with the train or you stop the train for a chicken.
Exactly.
It's a 50-50 split.
I say get your satisfaction, kill the chicken. That's just me. Yeah. For more fun with animals in the way, we go to Florida. A driver headed down the local highway slammed on the brakes and provided safe passage for a turtle that was crossing the roadway. Dashcam footage of the obstruction was shared online as a caution to other drivers, asking them to rethink their method of helping the animal, as the car caused not only a massive pileup of cars, but a few collisions in the process as well. Luckily, the animal did make it across safely, however.
So if those people were in charge of the train, that chicken would have been gone.
I suppose, yeah.
Hey, man, make better decisions how you're going to do this. You caused a traffic incident.
Well, that was the thing. This thing was on a moving highway, and this guy's like, turtle! Causing all kinds of crashes.
I get respect to the turtle. It's not like one of those lame-ass chickens you can just run over by.
Man, I do too, but if I damage my doggone marshmallow or somebody rear ends it because somebody was stopping for a freaking turtle, I'm pissed.
But the chicken, I feel like with the train, even if it's stupid, would get out of the way. And it has the ability to do it. Where the turtle, I'm trying! I'm scrambling!
It's a long-ass highway! It's severe headlines without my hawk is on!
We'll see you next time for Big W. The head chef's back. Ted's Meat and Potatoes. The lovely Taryn Daly's up next.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.